All right there. We are live on Wednesday night. Once again, Halenville Live, December the 7th, 2022. Charles Green, Neil Daly, Keith Campbell along.
Right on.
Hi, kids.
Yeah. How's everyone doing? Charles, how you doing, bro?
Hope everyone's doing well. It's good to see you guys.
Yeah, Neil, good to see you, dude.
Good to see you too. Good to see everybody.
Yeah. Right, nice picks there. Keith, what's happening, my bro?
Whole lot of partying. Happy birthday, Holly.
Yeah, it's Holly Lewis's
Happy birthday, sweetheart.
today.
Also, it's Guitar Man 45's birthday as well.
Guitar Man 45, right on.
Dude, that's awesome.
Happy birthday, guys.
Happy birthday,
Yeah,
bro.
happy birthday
Right
to both of
on.
you.
Yeah, everybody born on
Cheers.
Pearl Harbor Day.
Mm-hmm. Holly, Guitar Man 45, hope your days have been awesome. Happy birthday. Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
We got a lot happening tonight here. We're going to dive into the first installment to see who gets to come to the Halenville Live Lost YearEnd Contest 2022. Yeah.
Way cool.
So the winner tonight of nearly impossible VanHalen trivia, whoever that might be, will get one of these passes that he's holding up right there, and you will be invited to a private backstage party on, let me show you the calendar. It's on Friday, December 30th at 9. The 4 winners from today, next week, 21st and 28th. You guys will be at a backstage bash with us and a special guest, special surprise guest. We'll play trivia backstage. We'll do all kind of things, hopefully legal things, no guarantee, but there'll be some really cool Van Halen prizes going out, really cool prizes, and a very good time. Plus, all 4 of you winners will be invited the following night. We're having maybe a bigger party on New Year's Eve here on the channel, Fruitcake Tony's New Year's Rockin' Eve, and you'll be invited to be on the panel live with us as we bring in 2023. And you'll get
It's gonna be awesome.
a goodie bag, and it'll have totes and koozies and passes and picks and
special prizes too.
This is
For
true.
that first one, right? For that Friday night. Yeah.
We can't. We're saying too much, but yeah, you guys will be treated to probably a great time.
Oh yeah.
And
which may or may not include Sandra popping out of a cake at midnight. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Easy.
It could happen.
Yeah.
Don't ask, don't tell, and whatever happens backstage stays backstage.
That's right.
Unless it
That
winds
is
up
right.
on YouTube. You.
Hey.
Now, on New Year's Eve, if you don't want to come on live, that's your choice, but you will have an invitation to be here with us on the panel. Yeah. And look forward to it. We got a good question for you tonight. We'll pop it in at, I don't know, about an hour in, and somebody is going to get one of these things mailed to them tomorrow. Plus, we're playing for upside down.
There it is.
A Van Halen 3 VIP pass.
Love it.
Ooh.
With my favorite monkeys.
There you go. Aside from these 3?
Yeah, right. I was
like
thinking
that.
the same thing.
Yeah. So we'll do that. And a whole lot more. We got a whole lot to show you, a whole lot to talk about too in the Van Halen world. We got a special guest waiting in the green room. Yes, we do. So, with that said, let's go ahead and let me pop open my chat, which I have not done yet. I so look forward to this every week. Let's do it. Ba-boom. All right. Nice. Start with my main man, Polly Walnuts, right there.
Good to see you,
Paulie.
Paulie.
Hey, Paulie.
Going on, brother?
There's the birthday girl.
Hey,
Hey, Holly,
sweetie.
happy birthday. Right on.
Happy birthday, sweetie.
Birthday's tomorrow, I believe, you guys. Yeah, it's tomorrow.
It's a birthday
Let
week.
me just
It don't matter.
interrupt for a second. I understand that there's actually 2 birthdays in the chat. Holly Lewis and Guitar Man 45.
That's
That's right.
right.
And
Is
with
Guitar
Man's
Man
today,
45 here?
Yes, he is.
Okay,
Excellent.
well, we will certainly, when we get up to him,
I think
we
you guys should sing them happy birthday.
will. Okay, and you're going to lead us.
All
All right, so
Really? Do you want to do it?
Yeah. Let's
You
do
do?
this.
Here we go. Here we go then.
hey, are we gonna when you say happy birthday? Are we gonna see Holly first and Guitar Man second? Because we don't want to get it mixed up here, guys.
Sure.
Hey,
Holly
In
and then Guitar Man 45.
Excellent. Let's do this.
Sandra, should we do it in standard tuning of E or should we do E flat?
E flat. Van
E
Halen,
flat.
bro.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
Excellent.
all right.
Neil,
All right.
take us in, bro. You're the singer in the group.
No, don't
Happy birthday to you. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
you.
Happy birthday,
dear Holly.
Guitar Man
And Guitar Man
45.
And Guitar Man
I think some of
45.
us have a delay.
Hey,
do.
hey,
Happy
Happy birthday to you.
All right. Very cool.
Yeah. Cheers.
Very cool.
All right.
Now this
Happy
may become a
birthday,
regular
dude.
thing, and if it does, we got to get paid, bro. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
We'll
saying.
just
Oh, no. We
we'll
owe
just
money.
edit them all
That's
together later. No. Yeah.
We'll
Nice.
fix it in
Happy
post.
birthday, you guys.
fix
Very
All
cool.
right. Let's dive back in. So
Happy
I'm
birthday,
gonna start
kids.
back
Let's
at
go.
the bottom. Christopher Live Sour.
Mr.
Right
Sobel, it's
on,
good to see
bro.
you,
Hey,
brother.
bud.
So
Right
Bob.
on.
Jeff K
Jeff,
in
you
the
rock.
house.
You rock.
The Axe is in the house.
Yes.
Right
It's
on,
good
bro.
to see you, bro.
R2, R3 locking
R2,
up.
right
on,
bro.
Our Van Halen brothers
on, brother.
here. Yeah.
Very
Janice
cool.
Lala. Hey, Janice.
Hey, sweetheart.
Ryan Hall. Right on, Ryan.
Ryan, right on, brother.
Ed
EW, brother.
is in the house.
Ed rocks.
Right
Ed
on,
is
Ed.
bouncing at the
Ed,
whiskey
Good to
right
see
now.
you, dude. Yeah,
Wow.
awesome. Nice
Wow.
to see you, dude. And there is the birthday dude himself. Right on, dude. 6-0.
Yeah.
Right on, brother.
Wow. Right
Right
on,
on.
dude.
Happy birthday, brother.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday to
Very
Holly
cool,
and
brother.
Guitar Man
Very cool,
45.
sweetheart.
Right on.
Nice.
All right.
Very
Nice.
clever.
So I see Dan of New Jersey.
Dan, what's going on, bro? It's good to see you.
Dan's
on,
won
Dan? Yeah.
a couple of weeks here going. Dan is the one to beat in the chat. So you guys better hope Dan goes and makes a sandwich while we do trivia.
Right.
That's why
right.
they have me on tonight, so I
That's
don't give him any competition.
Watch for
Exactly.
Dan.
Exactly.
Yeah. And watch for, oh, he's here. He can't play.
Yeah.
Nope. Level playing field, boys and girls.
Oh. Ooh.
The trash talk has started.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. I already got mine.
Ooh.
Come and get yours, kids.
Who wants some of Debo?
I had no prior knowledge of that. I swear.
Nope.
Only Charles knew.
I only fly off the
All
cuff
right,
on
Dan,
Wednesday
nice
nights.
to see you.
Right on, Dan.
Yeah.
Let's scroll up. Let's see who else. If you're just hopping in, say hi. It's nice to see you. It's Wednesday night. There's Andy.
Andy, what's going on, bro?
Andy.
What's going on, bro?
Yeah, brother. Hey, let's throw
Tim
this up for
Thomas.
Andy.
Right on, Tim.
That's for
Andy's
Andy.
picks are making the round.
Yeah, they are.
Those guitar picks
Those are
are
the best
mighty
picks out there.
nice. They
Very
are
cool.
one of the
Very cool.
nicest guitar picks I've seen this year.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to do a little contest, but we're going to do a little ranking at the end of the year for the other show with that. But
Ooh.
you'll
Ranking
see
the
Andy's
picks?
picks again.
Ranking the picks.
Andy's got some nice ones. Yeah.
Very
Thank you,
cool.
Andy.
Does Andrew have that copyrighted or no?
I'm sure. I'm sure he does. All right. There's Dwight Bailey. Hey, Dwight.
Dwight, what's going on, Hitman?
Hey, what's going on, man?
All right. Okay. So real quickly, tonight is the first night when we do trivia. The winner will be invited to our backstage bash. We're calling it our Halenville Live Lost YearEnd Contest 2022. You and the winners from this month, as you see there, will all join us backstage Friday, December 30th in a private backstage, and it'll be all of us, and all of you will have a surprise special guest. We'll do trivia back here. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Plus,
Ryan
Let's say hi to
Hall, you guys.
yeah, you can
and
come
say hi
back
to
next
Glenn
night
Zeppelin
too.
and R2R3 as well.
Yeah, it'll be a
Going
New
on, boys.
Year's weekend to remember.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that'll be
All
fun.
right. So, without further ado, let's bring in our very special guest. Hadn't seen Simon in a little while. He's been out on the road. He's been traveling a little bit. But it's sure nice to see him. Let's bring him in. There's Haas. What's up, dude?
Yeah.
Hey everybody, how we doing? Yeah,
Man.
I'm doing good
right.
down here in old Melbourne, Australia. How you guys doing?
Good, bro.
Doing well, brother. It's good to see you.
Outstanding.
Good to see
It's
you.
excellent, most excellent to see all of you guys too, and have a chat and catch up because it has been a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to see you,
Yep.
bro. How's
It's
life
very, very
treating
good.
you?
Life's treating me pretty good. Can't complain. There's lots of irons in the fire. There's a few exciting things coming up, and I can just sort of gradually leak them during the show if you like. But but
We
yeah,
like
everything's good. And how are things over there in the better part of the world? Are they good?
We're in the cool months, so
Yeah,
here
we're in the
in
northern hemisphere.
Freaking cold, dude. It's not cool. It's cold, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
depending on where you are.
Look at
Before all you guys
It's in
start
the 50s
complaining
here,
about
so
that, yeah, before you all start complaining about but getting into the cool months, we've officially hit summer because obviously it's the opposite down here.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, and I'll do a conversion for you. I'll tell you what the temperature is today. Our spring was basically just 3 more months of winter. So, for anyone that watched Game of Thrones when they said winter is coming, it definitely came and stayed. All right, hang on. I'm going to do a little. I'm looking at my phone in case anyone's wondering because my brain can't handle the conversion. But it is it's 50 here and it's the second week of summer.
Whoa.
You're getting
Okay.
weird
Wow.
weather.
And it's
yeah. So it's like my
And-
weather right now in San Diego.
correct. So you guys are in winter and it's the same temperature here. And I'm sure you would know, like the Australian summer, even down at the bottom of the country where I am, can still tend to get pretty hot. I mean, we're talking 90s, 100 plus, like no problem. But so it's 50. We have not had any spring and any summer so far. So
Hey, Simon, what percentage of I don't know why I'm asking you this question. What percentage of Australia is a desert environment? Because in
99. 99.
That's what I was going to say. So when I think of Australia, I don't care if it's the middle of your winter. It's always sunny. There's always a koala bear somewhere under a tree. and the water's always wonderful. So, yeah,
No,
just a myth, huh?
No, definitely not. So, most of the only places like where all the cities are, they're all dotted around the coast because that's the kind of the most temperate. Anything inland is just dry and red and hot, which is probably how most people think of Australia, you know. In Western Australia, over in the west, Perth is on the coast, but they have beautiful beaches and their weather tends to be a lot warmer than on the east coast. So they're probably the exception, but really it's most of Australia is, you know, as soon as you go inland, even like, for example, I've got relatives that live like a 2.5 hour drive north of Melbourne, and the difference in temperature and weather just in that 2.5 hour drive is crazy because they don't get the sea winds and all of that stuff. And so we could be at, say, I don't know, 60, 70 degrees here in Melbourne, and it'll be like 85, 90 when you just drive 3 hours north. So that's how quickly it changes when you get off the coast.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but nevertheless, you know, summertime in Melbourne is normally beautiful. In fact, it's more beautiful often than in some of the other hotter cities because it's kind of dialed down just enough where, you know, it's hot and sunny and it's beautiful, but there's a little sea breeze and it's fine. But not this year, apparently. Well, not yet anyway, but you should be careful what you wish for because, you know,
speaking of the sea and being there on the coast, do you watch Shark Week each year, Haas?
Sorry, Neil. I do not. I know. I'm sorry, Neil. I'm sorry. No.
Because you guys got the great whites down there.
Yeah, we do. But, you know, they only chomp on you if you kind of go into the water. That's
you know, Holly put in the chat, and I quote, "and critters that will eat you." That's what she said.
Okay. I know that your impression of Australia is redback spiders and snakes and sharks and all of that. And I promise that apart from the sharks, you only get those things if you go like inland, you know, Ayers Rock and all that desert stuff. But I mean, they've been having some bad luck at the Sydney beaches like Bondi Beach and all of that with the sharks. But really, I mean...
And the Great Barrier Reef area, right?
Great Barrier Reef too, which is in Queensland, so that's further north on the east coast. And but you know, I mean, you're in their house now. You know, if you're flapping around in the water out there, you know.
Well, where we live here on the east coast of America, when we have occurrences, it involves a 6-foot sand shark. But when you have them, it involves megalodon.
Yeah,
the Meg.
Yeah, no. That's all. There's no megalodons that I know of down here. But it's but we like to let everybody think that because it keeps all you tourists out, you know, and leaves the place just for us. You know what I'm saying?
That's brutal. That's brutal.
Very smart. So there's actually no snakes, no redback spiders. There's very few sharks, but it keeps tourism down, which is great.
Nice.
But you're in Melbourne, so you know.
But I am in Melbourne. I saw there's another guy in the chat that's from Melbourne, our buddy Adam Roach. Hey, Adam, how you doing?
Hey,
Adam.
Right on, brother. Right on.
Simon, if you want to keep the tourists away in the summer, just start telling people that there's no good-looking girls on the beaches in Australia.
Yeah, and John as well. How you doing, John? Unfortunately, Neil, that isn't entirely true at all. In fact, I'm fortunate enough to be going over to do some gigs in Perth this weekend with the singer Daryl Braithwaite. And Perth is one of my favorite cities in the country because, like I was saying, it's all the way over in the West Coast. Yeah. And it's warmer. The beaches are clean and beautiful. And I don't know what's in the water there, but the human beings grow up looking nice.
Nice. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Hey, and I also just like to butt in real quick and say, I'm really disappointed I was backstage Holly for your birthday song because I really wanted to join in with whatever that was. But happy birthday, Holly.
You can go solo.
And just, yeah, I could go. All right. That's fair. Should I go solo?
Listen, Hans, we're taking that shit on the road, brother. All right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Keith, why I'll step up and go solo is because here in Australia, it actually is Holly's birthday now.
Oh,
so
all right.
Bombarded. No, I'm kidding. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Holly. Happy birthday to you. There you go, kids.
Very nice.
Happy birthday, Holly.
Simon, you got a little bit of the classic crooner Rat Pack issue like going on right there. That was a little.
We would have sounded so much better with him, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Well, you know, when you grow up listening to David Lee Roth, whether you're into the Rat Pack or not, it's already in your blood.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Right?
But,
and
actually, I
just and Bent Tom are in the chat. It's good to see you both. We love you.
Hey,
guys.
Tommy.
Bent Tom, how you doing, brother? Good
Hey,
to see
Tommy.
you. Hope you're well. Yeah.
Yeah, and he had a
and I'd
birthday
also like
last
to
week.
say, Ben Tom. Oh,
His birthday
I
was
missed it.
Saturday.
I'm so sorry, Tom. I missed your birthday, brother. Normally I'm
happy
onto
birthday,
that
brother.
stuff, but
Hey, Simon.
happy
you should sing
birthday.
to him.
Happy birthday,
nice.
Ben Tom. Happy birthday, Ben Tom. Happy birthday, you legend. Happy birthday, Ben Tom. There you go.
Nice.
Right on time.
Yeah. Along with you guys, one of the sweetest human beings that I've ever not met. So, but that's going to change because I might be somewhere around your summer next year. So we will see.
On.
Ooh.
That'll be
Yeah.
right on time.
That's
too.
what we've been waiting
Yeah.
for.
In more ways.
Well,
than
it will be
two,
right on-
Charles.
Yeah, well, I have to wait till it's your summer because I don't want to leave 6 months of winter here and then come over for your winter now. That would be no
You
fun.
do not.
Agreed. Agreed.
It's getting worse right now.
Yeah.
And especially for you, Neil, like what's the temperature over where you are now?
Well, you know, here I don't know
One
if
and
you
a
guys
half
go through this.
degrees.
Well, we go through this thing. Like I've had to adopt to this new thing where they give you the temperature and then they spend 10 minutes telling you what it actually feels like. And
Oh,
that
okay.
that blows my mind because it's like, okay, well, if you tell me the temperature is 20 and you say, but it feels like 12 outside, just tell me it's 12. Like, I don't, you know, what the number is arbitrary. Who gives a damn what the number? You know, if I go outside and it feels like 12 degrees, it's 12 degrees.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah. So all the Australian weather apps that we have on our iPhones do the same thing now. They've been doing it for like the last 2 years, and it's like it's 30 degrees, feels like 20.
Yeah.
I'm just totally not interested in. And isn't the whole idea of the temperature system and scale so that you know what it feels like?
You would think.
You would, you know, I just don't understand that at all. So anyway,
Yeah,
They ought to have like a nipple meter, you know? The colder it gets, you know,
do you know what it is?
or
It's
it gets so
probably
cold
just.
that they fall off.
It's probably just, you know, you've got your little team of people up at the building of the Bureau of Meteorology, and what they do is they just send Trevor out every now and again and go, hey, come back in and tell us if that's right, and he goes, nah, it feels like 20 actually, and so they go, okay, well, we can't readjust our scales, but we'll just say that Trevor says it feels like it's 20. You know,
I think you're right. It's funny because the one thing, you know, for 30 years in Los Angeles, the weather segments were kind of ridiculous because they would cut to the weather every 10 minutes and it'd be like this map showing 70, 75, 80, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, that was like what we get used to. Here in Chicago, when they cut to the weather, it's a 15-minute segment. And I'm not joking. They'll put up about 50 different maps. And you know, like the wind going this way, and then this, and then you got cloud cover, and then you got this, and then you got breeze coming in, and like isobars and dew points and all these things. They'll do weather for 15 minutes, and I think you're right. There's just some guy outside being like, it feels like it's 15.
Yeah, he just licks his finger and holds it up into the window and goes, Yeah, that feels like 15. Yeah.
Well, we all watch
Oh, man.
our local
It's well
weather
coming to.
in our local areas, but when things get rough and they say, well, it's going to be bad weather or this, when it actually is bad weather, all of a sudden they don't say it's bad weather. They say the National Weather Service has said it's going to be bad weather. Well, wait a second. Aren't you giving me the forecast here? I could just go to
Well-
them? Fuck you,
Well, yeah, no, you're right. And before we stop talking about the weather, this probably happens for you guys just the same as here, but the weather forecasts are like always just completely hedging their bets. There was like 50% chance of rain today. Well, why don't you just say you don't know?
Right.
Because 50-50 is like, so it's either not going to rain or it is going to rain. Oh, man.
That's why it's
Give
so
me a
great to
break,
be a weatherman in San Diego, because it's so easy to screw up the weather. Oh, it's going to be 72 instead of 74.
Right.
Okay.
They used to.
Yeah.
There was a running joke for the longest time that said that the best job in America was being a meteorologist in San Diego.
Absolutely, yeah.
That
And
was
it
the
still
best
holds
job
true.
in America. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Well,
could call in sick. You could call in sick 4 days in a row, and they just play Monday's segment over and over and over.
Still applies to this
Well,
day.
I can tell you guys that every time I've been to California, it reminds me of a Warrant song lyric, but I won't sing that as well. Is it doesn't matter what time of year I go, I land and get out of LAX, and I just go, yeah, same.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's basically just the same all the time.
Hey, Simon, Ed's asked a question in the chat to you. He would
Yeah.
like to know if there's any updates on the release of your tribute to EVH concert from last May.
Oh, that'd be Herbert there. Is that right? Is that what I'm looking at?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Herbert, how you doing? There is an update to that.
Hey, Herbert.
That's going to be ready. That's going to be ready for Christmas, kids. So
Yeah. I was going to ask you that question too.
Yeah, and I'm really, really sorry, but obviously since COVID kind of finished here properly in Melbourne, all the touring stuff has just opened back up again, and I've had very little time to really sit and properly do. I mean, as everyone knows, like video editing with multicams and stuff and doing a mix just takes a while. So, and there were some problems with the original hard drive that I got where some of the files were corrupted. So that until I could solve that issue, that took a few months even just in itself. So my apologies.
It never goes
for
smoothly,
Christmas,
does it, Simon? It never goes
No.
smooth. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And the bigger the task you set for itself, the less smoothly it seems to go, right? But anyway,
Always the case.
that'll be ready for Christmas for sure, 100%. So.
That's
Fantastic.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hey,
Thanks,
real
Herbert.
quick before we jump off this question, I want to give a shout out, Herbert. This might be the first time I've seen you actually in the chat, and he and I have done some guitars before in the past, and we've got something. We're doing a custom something coming up that's going to be really.
You and
really
Herbert
cool.
do?
Yeah, and Herbert and I are doing something that's in the works right now. That's going to be something unlike anybody's ever seen before. So it's going to be really exciting. So
Well,
Herbert, thanks
cool.
for tuning in, bro.
Welcome to Halenville, Herbert.
Yep.
Right there, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
I'll say that too. And in
Right.
fact, there's someone else that you guys probably know in the chat that I haven't seen before is The Axe. I don't think I know The Axe. So
He's
Yeah,
been here
well,
before.
He's been
yeah,
here
for
quite a
Linda.
bit.
Yeah.
Excellent.
He's well known in
Nice
the
to see
community.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, sorry. It's just that I haven't been watching the replays enough. Apparently, you know.
Yeah, you got to check your calendar.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Papa
Hey,
Blue is
hey,
in the chat as well. Good
Yeah,
to see you,
Papa.
Papa. Right on,
Yeah.
bro.
Speaking of my iCalendar and you know Holly that it's Holly Lewis's birthday actually today. The easiest explanation for what happened last week is, Tony, you told me Wednesday night, and I was ready on Wednesday night in Melbourne, and you guys weren't there. So, sorry.
Actually, the funny thing is, no, when we went live last week, Fruitcake Tony actually said that you were waiting in the green room, but we just didn't have time to get to you. You know, we had to bounce you to the next week.
We were catching up, and you know.
Yeah.
He was like, with all apologies to Simon, we'll get to you next week. We ran out of
We
time.
did we started the
It's
show,
fine.
we did the chat, and all of a sudden 2 hours later, where's Haas? I forgot. Holy shit. No, we're
Nah,
totally
that's okay.
kidding.
That's all right. I know we're on the run.
No.
I stand down here. That's fine. That's fine.
Oh my goodness.
No, we are totally kidding. Always great to see you. You
It's always
guys
great to see you
done
guys
some
too.
road work, Haas.
Yeah, it's been pretty busy actually.
How many shows?
Lots of stuff. I would say it's two or three a week, but always out of town. So, and you know, Australia's not like the States where you can kind of do like a driving tour where you can have coaches and trucks with the equipment and stuff, and you basically just string line from town to town. Because everything's so spread out here, they're always fly dates. And because the airlines since COVID have been completely rubbish, there's so many cancelled flights and delayed flights and all of that stuff. We tend to now, which is the first time ever in my life that we've done this, but even if we have like, say, if I've got 2 shows in Sydney, we'll always fly the day before now. It's the only way to be safe that you'll make the show, because we've turned up to the airport, even at, for 7 a.m. flight for a gig at 9 p.m. and your flight's cancelled and they just can't put 10 of you on another flight.
So even today,
it's
still messed up in Australia as far as travel.
Man,
I've got to tell you, the 2 major airlines here, domestic airlines anyway, in Australia are Qantas and Virgin, and neither one's particularly better than the other. They just your baggage doesn't turn up. We've arrived in Queensland and stuff, and none of our instruments have turned up. Stuff like that,
So all these issues started in COVID. Is that right?
Yeah. This is totally, and I happen to know a lady that is a Qantas baggage handler, and she told me on the down low and said never to repeat it. So of course I'll say it now.
Don't mind us.
Well, no, because it doesn't matter, because it's the people that really are to blame are as always, they're the suits in the boardrooms, the big bosses that are making their $5 million a year salary. And so what they've done is, because during COVID they had to fire all the baggage handlers, they've now re-employed baggage handlers from a company that is the lowest bidder and also have never, ever worked in air travel before, if you can believe that.
Oh, God, it's like government contractors.
They're outsourcing to unskilled labor.
So they've outsourced it now. So they're not only are they non-Qantas, they're non-airline at all. They're just a private company. And they just happen to be it'd be like me just getting my mates together and say, hey, we should do some baggage handling and put in a low bid and we'd get the gig. And so that's what's been happening. It's been completely crazy.
So by going to 1 day ahead has helped you guys.
Yeah, it's helped because it means if your guitars don't turn up, you'll get them before the gig. If it means the flight's cancelled, we can figure out another way of getting to Sydney or Perth or wherever we're going. But it's been crazy. So because of the gigs, plus always leaving now 1 day earlier, it just, as you would imagine, it chews up your week.
Yeah.
So what would normally be like a couple of gigs on the weekend is now you're leaving Thursday, getting back Monday. So
that's gotta be really frustrating
tricky
for the rest of the guys in your band, because you can show up and flash your smile, and I'm sure you're going to get escorted right through to first class, but the other guys
always Neil. Yeah. Always.
Right?
And then there's you got Brad Cook working for you, throwing your bags, throwing your luggage around, right? So
No, it's John CD, 351.
What kind of time are you talking to fly from one side of Australia to the other? What are we talking about here? What would your average flight time be? 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that?
No, it's okay. So a pretty good example is what I'm doing this weekend, which is Melbourne. We're not completely all the way to the east. We're sort of like southeast, but Perth is definitely the furthest west. So that flight's like, it depends on the winds, but 3 to 4 hours.
Okay.
So
it's not too bad. I mean, what's LA to New York these days?
5 or 6.
6 hours.
Yeah.
6
5,
hours.
5
6 hours. That's average.
So, we were talking before about how much of Australia is just desert. This will tell anyone that doesn't know exactly how much of it is desert. So if you look at the, in a picture of the world, the size of Australia to the size of the US, right? They're a different shape, but they're almost kind of like Australia's kind of a bit taller and fatter, and you guys are a bit more kind of stretched out.
Yeah.
But essentially in square miles, it's not that much different.
Interesting.
But the population of all of Australia is the same population as Greater LA.
And it's all on the coast.
So,
Yeah.
but it's
It's probably less
because we're
crowded
just
too.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, because we're just like a bunch of mice just where the cheese is, which is where the water is, you know. And no one, there's no Texas version of Australia or you know, yeah, you know.
So
Wow.
There's obviously mining towns and stuff inland, but they're tiny and there's populations are super small. So that'll give you an idea. What's Greater LA now? About 20 million, 21 million or something?
Oh, probably close to
I think it's a
25.
little more than that.
Yeah, I think it's about 25.
Yeah.
Well, look, maybe it's more. Well, I can tell you right now, the whole population of Australia is 23. So there you go.
Really?
Right.
Well, you're probably accurate. You're probably right. I bet that's equal to.
Let me ask you this, Simon. Just what we know the types of clubs that are here, like in different regions in the States, East Coast, or tell us a little bit about the types of clubs you play there and the types of clubs you favor. Yeah.
Okay. Look, actually, the types of clubs in Australia are not that dissimilar to the types of clubs that you guys have. And in fact, really, most places in the world, a club is a club. You know, they always kind of look the same when you walk in. So, you know, you turn up to play at a club in Germany, say, and you walk in and you just go, yeah, it's a club, you know. And so here it's kind of the same. And obviously when you see the corner hotel thing, you'll get a pretty good feel for what it is. I would say if I had to compare it to something, let me think. So the corner would probably fit about 700 or 800 people. So like, what are the clubs on the LA Strip that would be like that kind of size? Do you think?
Well,
That's actually big for an LA club.
That's bigger
Yeah.
than. Yeah, I mean, that's borderline. I mean, that's smaller than a theater, but it's definitely
like House of Blues or Hard Rock
probably House of
style.
Blues.
Yeah,
that's a good example.
That's
okay.
about right.
So
That's a good example.
okay, so what I would say is, that's right. I mean, I've played with Men at Work in some of the House of Blueses, and I would say, from memory, the House of Blues clubs that I've worked in feel a bit more open, even if the person capacity is about the same. So I'd say the corner hotel is like a slightly smaller House of Blues, something like that.
Okay.
You know, or like a smaller Canyon club, you know, that kind of thing.
Oh, Canyon clubs. Okay, I gotcha.
So
Canyon Club's pretty big. That would fit 1,500 in it, probably, right? Or no?
At least 1,000.
Yes.
Definitely.
At least 1,000. Okay.
People, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Canyon,
okay, cool. So
Saban
that's
Entertainment is actually building, like, Canyon clubs are popping up all over. They've actually bought a bunch of theaters now. That same company has renovated a couple places.
Yep.
There's a place called the Rose Theater in Pasadena now. There's a Canyon Club Santa Clarita, a Canyon Club. It's a and it's a gorgeous venue. I love being in Canyon clubs.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I like that place too. I've played there with Colin Hay back in the day, but I also there was a time I was just hanging out and I can't remember. I went with my good friend who's the front of house guy for Sammy Hagar and Dream Theater and a whole bunch of other people, and Mr. Big were playing there, and so we went, and he obviously knows all those guys, so we went and hung out there, which was cool.
That was awesome.
But yeah. So I would say the corner hotel is like a slightly smaller Canyon club then, something like that.
Cool.
But so the venues, Tony, they're really the same. I mean, I think that it doesn't matter how big a city is. The clubs that tend to feel cozy and good for a rock show always tend to be about the same size, no matter what the population of the city is. You know, unless, although I will say London is an exception. Oh my God. They're like well-known popular clubs that all the great bands play at over there are tiny. And I mean, like, you would be lucky. They're like the baked potato. You'd get like 150 people in there max.
You're lucky. That's
Yeah.
tight.
No, I mean it. Like
That's tight.
yeah, no. When I was over there with John Stevens touring in the UK, and we did all these places around London that everyone was like, "Oh, the Beatles played here, and Rolling Stones played here," and then we'd walk into this place, and I'd go, "Are you kidding? This is like my house."
Yeah.
It's
I got enough gas money to get
yeah,
home.
Tiny.
No, that's not dissimilar.
Yeah,
from,
they are
like,
tiny.
one of my favorite LA strip clubs was the Viper Room, which is now unfortunately
Oh,
closed
yeah.
down. But that place
Right.
probably holds 150. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's less
Yeah.
than half of what the whiskey would hold. So that's that lots of people played there. I've played there myself. But
That's a good question,
one of those
Brett
places
Zepp.
when you walk in,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my God, this is not much bigger than my apartment.
Is there any places that
Yeah.
are rough, as Gret Zeppelin asked, or any audiences that are any regions that you stay away from on purpose?
Yeah,
How you doing,
Halenville.
Gretch? By the way, thank you. Yeah, Halenville. I
Easy.
stay away.
We
It's
don't
only
have
'cause I
chicken
was
wire up
contracted
front,
to-
though.
No, well, I tried to get out of it last week, but it backfired, and I got committed to this week instead. But rough bars, not really. I mean, look, obviously, some bars just tend to have a rougher demographic than other places. Obviously, when the clientele is mostly female based, there's no issues. When you play somewhere, and especially maybe regional, like not in the capital cities, you might play at a kind of place where it's just mostly blokes, and also like there might even be a biker element in there and stuff. To be honest, I've never really had any problem with the bikers and the rougher kind of dudes, because they're just there to drink some beer and listen to music just the same as everybody else. But there is always a bit more chance of a fight breaking out. I guess there's always that. But I would say, I mean, I remember a time, okay, so I didn't play in this bar, and it was in the States, and I wish I could remember which city I was in. But me and Michael Baker, the guy I was just telling you about, we had a night off, and we thought, oh well, let's just go find a bar and drink some tequila. And so it must have been a pretty small. It wasn't a big city; it was a small town, and we ended up driving. No, we didn't drive. Of course, we didn't drive. We caught a cab, and we ended up at this place that was like 45 minutes outside of this small town, and it was like one of like a roadhouse kind of a vibe almost. It was like a Coyote Ugly kind of bar. It was just all wood and small, like a shack, and
Dive bar.
And we walked in. It was a dive bar, but a good dive bar is awesome fun, and actually the people in there can be lovelier than a nice looking place, where everyone's too uptight. But anyway, this will be important. So I really wish I could remember what state I was in at least. But the two of us walked in. So there's me, with my shaved head, and then there's him with his super long straight hair. And we just walked in, and we were the only two guys that looked anything like us in the place. And it was like one of those scenes where you walk in it, and the DJ record needle like scratches across the record, and everything just goes quiet. And everyone, in our heads, the music definitely stopped. It obviously didn't, but in our heads it did. And everyone turned around and just looked at us, and we looked at each other and thought, is this really the place where we want to drink some tequila? And he's, by the way, he's American. He lives in the States, and he just goes, fuck yeah, pal. This is where we're drinking tequila, buddy. And of course and the first 5 minutes was super scary, and we're at the bar ordering, and everyone was looking at us. But of course it was just we ended up having a really, really great night. So what seemed like we were going to get beaten up, we ended up making friends with everyone. They're like, oh yeah, we'll come see Men at Work tomorrow. No worries, blah, blah, blah. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Let me ask you
Excellent.
this. So we talked earlier, we mentioned sharks and koala bears. So, and we were just...
They go together.
We were just kidding,
Yeah.
but I'm going to bring this up. Adam sent a couple of pictures, current pictures, very current.
The kangaroo bouncers?
Let me bring this up. Yeah. Watch this.
Uh-oh.
He says he's just hanging out with the Ruse.
Oh yeah, there you go. There they are in the background there, next to sitting by the tree as they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is excellent.
We got to ask Adam though. How was Fiji?
Yeah.
He spent last week in Fiji.
Look at that look on his face.
Yeah.
Look how relaxed he looks. Yep. Fiji was good, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Adam's always got a smile on, no matter what's happening in his life. It's what we love about him. Yeah.
Very cool, Adam. Thank you.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, we
And we got to give a shout out to him also for his updates on his book.
Yeah.
that's right.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's
you're
right.
about that,
Speaking
dude.
of,
Yeah,
kids
look at
got
that.
the new
Very cool.
Guitar World.
Nice.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
Yes.
And you know what I love about it? He didn't get the cover of the Guitar World by playing Van Halen.
Correct.
Because that would have been more obvious, but he did it doing his own thing, saying no to the fans, and got to give him credit for that for sure.
Get yours today.
Nice.
There's Keith, isn't there 2 covers this month? Is that
Yes,
the deal? You want to explain that?
Yeah, it has the Guitarist of the Year, and it's got Wolfgang on one cover and then Nita Strauss on the other.
That's right.
Oh, cool.
And they have two separate interviews, and then they also have a full set of interviews with other guitarists too.
Yeah,
about
right.
what their favorite music of the year is, their gear, everything, the pedals. What their favorite shows of the year were. And it's a great issue this month.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll say about Wolfie is obviously we all know now that he's just been absolutely stubborn in his will to do his own music his way and not pander to what all the fans were. Well, that's exactly how Eddie was, right?
Sure.
That's why
Absolutely.
that's why he ended up not getting along with Roth and not getting along with Sammy. And that's why, when record company was asking for this and that, he was going in at night and recording his own guitar solos. I mean, Eddie was stubborn, so why would his son not be the same way? I love that. I think it's perfect,
Exactly.
because if Wolfie was a pushover, even though we'd all be happy he was playing his dad's music, there'd be deep down subconsciously, I reckon we wouldn't respect it,
You're absolutely right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's doing this on his terms. And
His
everybody
terms.
is letting him do it, which is phenomenal.
which is exactly what Eddie did from the age of 18 years old. Van Halen did everything on their terms, and his son's following. In that sense, he's following in his footsteps, and I think that's perfect.
The best part, though, is that they're letting him do it on his terms.
I also think a lot of it, and there's he's obviously established enough, and we've seen him on social media. We know that he's confident enough to not be bullied by people. He talks right back to the haters and stuff. But I do kind of think that like him getting the Grammy nod for best hard rock song, writing, I think that probably carries a lot of weight with him and makes him, that might be a little bit of enough to give him the push to keep going his own route. The fact that he was recognized universally for doing his own thing, I think might have just been, like I said, I don't think he needed that. I think he's self-confident enough to go his own route regardless. But I think that probably is enough to make him be like, okay, I was right all along. Now I'm going to,
Plus he had 3 #1 songs.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. He already knows in his heart at his age, and maybe for a little while now, maybe he was unsure when he was younger, but he's a lifer and he knows it.
Yeah.
He's doing this until he dies, and only this.
Yep.
I mean.
Yeah, I totally agree with all of you on that. I think that he's doing it on his terms, getting the I'm sure that Wolfie wasn't doing anything in his life for a Grammy, just like I think really no musicians do anything for a Grammy. But nevertheless, Neil, I agree that it's getting the Grammy nod is a really good kudos and would be validating to that he's doing his own path. But really, I think he'd do just the same even without it, probably. In fact, who knows? Maybe he'd be even more defiant, Yeah. But,
it says it right here on the cover. I'm not a guitarist of the year. I'm just a dude. That says it all.
Okay. Tell me that you have to agree with me on this. Is that not exactly the kind of thing Eddie would have said?
Exactly.
I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude.
He actually did that on so many interviews. He's like, I'm just some punk dude who plays guitar.
Yeah. Eddie would sit there and be like, "What do you mean? How can you rank the best? Who's the, how do you decide who's the best? I'm just a guitar player."
Like maybe
that's
your favorite kid.
Right. That's it. Ed never liked it back then. Dave used to mention it live on stage sometime, and Ed would acknowledge, but he didn't like it. He didn't like talking about that. He wanted to play the song.
What time is it, boys and girls?
Is it time?
I'm hearing it.
It's time.
I'm hearing it.
It's time for one of these, kids.
That's the magic
Come and
sound.
get
Oh.
Give me 2 secs, guys. I'm just going to run to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Be right back.
All right. So we are talking about playing some nearly impossible Van Halen trivia. That's right. I like how this ends up. I did this by design. Right. You fit right in that little groove just perfectly.
That's what she said.
Oh.
Don't.
Sorry, Sandra.
Well, we'll keep it PG-13. Not exactly R yet.
It sounded like I meant to set you up.
It did sound like that. I blame you.
Right?
We are going to march into. We are going to march into some 10-shot. No, not. We're going to some nearly impossible. See, they got.
You'll get the stink eye.
Some nearly impossible Van Halen. We're going to be playing for the first. We're going to determine who the first entry to the party weekend, to our party, our private party for you.
Yeah, man.
And New Year's right here on the channel.
Yep.
We're going to, plus I'm going to be mailing you one of these tomorrow, and we don't give these staff passes out loosely.
Do you also still get one of these?
Yep, they'll get one of those, maybe two.
But you'll
get one of these tomorrow.
No,
plus,
not everybody gets that.
Plus, you'll get this Van Halen 3.
How about one of these?
Pass along with it tonight. So you get 2 passes, and you're invited. Yeah, and that's going to be a fun weekend for you. So be the winner tonight. Yes, be the winner. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Be the
winner. But you're going to have to earn it. This is a good one.
Yeah.
There's a really hard one. And Neil missed it, and I missed it.
I missed it.
I had most of the question, but I didn't get the title.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I can say this without giving anything away to the people in the chat. Once the answer was given to me, I knew I should have known it. So it's one of those things where you probably know it even if you don't think you do.
Right. You're gonna when you hear the answer, you're gonna go.
Oh. Yep. You're gonna go.
Nearly.
Exactly.
Impossible.
Exactly. It's
why didn't
impossible.
I think that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there will be no hints to you. But if you are in fact the winner, expect a little brown envelope in a few days. There's an email address down below. Trivia winners email. Email me your name and address. I'll mail you out some coolness tomorrow. Yes.
Good luck to you all.
And you will be the first one of 4 this month.
Yeah.
We're taking 4 to the party on the 30th and the 31st. 2 parties in 2 days right here, Van Halen style. God forbid.
Hey, T-Cake, you ought to put the winner up on this week's calendar posting, for next week.
Well, actually, if you're going to do that, you should have Ed do an avatar of each person that wins.
Oh,
that would be awesome.
Go.
Oh,
have an animate. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of avatars, hey Simon.
Yeah,
Where's my avatar?
All right, let's find this question, guys.
You got a billboard, Simon, after whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Soon.
So, any
Soon.
thoughts on the question, Charles?
No.
I mean,
One of them may know it, but this is nearly impossible tea cake trivia.
It's
So
nearly impossible.
a couple
Yeah.
of you in the chat have been on a good roll lately. Watch out for them.
I'm expecting
Mentioning no
Andy
names.
to know this.
Who?
Just when Andy, the minute
Andy.
I heard
Oh.
it and I saw that
we're
he
putting
was
names
still
down again?
here,
Uh-oh.
then
Uh-oh.
I said to myself, well, Andy would probably. We'll see. We'll find out.
I'm going to go with Dan of New Jersey.
It's a good
Really?
guess. Dan's
Okay.
not a bad bet at all.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Can I also throw a second bet in?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Who?
Birthday girl.
Holly? Yeah, that's obvious. though.
Holly, yeah.
That's kind of obvious. I
Never
think
count
Holly's
her
going to win
out.
every week.
Never count Holly out.
No,
this,
I always think she's gonna win.
You may be right there, Keith. You may be right there. This is anybody's game, though.
This is a tough one, though. I will say
it's tough, but it's gettable. So get ready. Okay, this is nearly impossible Van Halen trivia. For December the 7th, Halenville Live Lost YearEnd Contest is underway. Starting now, it's going to be a good month and a good holiday season and a great new year. Here we go. Nearly Impossible Van Halen trivia for tonight.
Good luck.
What song played during David Lee Roth's high school graduation? Correct spelling. Yes, sir.
Correct spelling.
All right.
All right. Let's look at the chat.
Here we go.
Let's see. Holly, great guess. No.
Yeah, so it is
This is a
kind
good
of
one.
a lot to ask, but it is
Adam.
right on. So, all right.
Herbert, that was my guess. That's what I thought because Roth graduated in 72. So I immediately went to Deep Purple. That's where I went. I was wrong, by the way. But yeah.
Herb's my dark horse to win this one. I'm putting money on him.
Herbert, I will say that was the Van Halen brothers prom song.
If you're just walking in from making a sandwich, what song was played during David Lee Roth's high school graduation? We need the correct spelling. And you're going to be hooked up with a cool pass, and you'll be invited to our
Adam
New Year's
Roach,
weekend.
you're writing a book on this stuff. You should dig this dirt up.
This is must-have
I have to
knowledge.
say,
Go ahead, Simon.
Song is what we're looking
I'm loving
for
some
here.
I'm
Yeah.
loving some of the guesses. They're awesome.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're really good guesses. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's show that. Yeah, there we are. So what song? We only need the song is
Yeah.
all we need. Yeah.
At least people are being year specific. I mean, they're basically figuring out when David Lee Roth graduated and picking songs from the year. That's smart.
Yeah.
They're very smart.
Yeah.
All right. Sandra's going to find us a winner. Thank you, Sandra. I'm not looking at the chat. I'm shuffling over here, but yeah. So hopefully we'll
Adam Roach might have my favorite guess so far when he said just a gigolo.
just a gigolo.
It's pretty good.
That's probably the funniest guess.
I don't know. I think it's I think it's neck and neck with Bent Tom somewhere over the rainbow bar and grill.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
That's a good guess. That's a good guess. All right, let me go to the chat.
I don't think anyone's necessarily getting closer though.
No, not yet.
Bar and grill.
I'm seeing some good guesses out there though.
Yeah, there is some good
Some
guesses.
killer guesses. They're all good. They're actually all really good.
We can't give away any clues though. Remember.
Yeah,
I think there's been
no
2
hints
or 3
to the
Marvin Gaye
kiddos.
guesses.
Let them
Let
them
no
earn it
has to be
the old-fashioned way.
There's no way I can give it away, Keith.
Right.
I can't even remember what the answer was.
Well, spelling counts, so
Randy,
I wouldn't get it because of spelling.
Yeah,
but that's a clue, though, right? That the spelling counts. That's got to be a clue.
Yeah, there's a reason that's in the question.
That's a clue.
That's your clue.
That's
your clue. Yep.
Right on. So while we're waiting on a winner here, and I'll interrupt. Sandra's gonna find us our winner. She certainly will. I promise you. So Keith,
there is a winner.
No, not yet. No. But
not
she'll
yet.
find
Okay,
it.
not
She'll find it when it happens. Keith,
Staying
you mentioned
alive. That's good.
Steve's book. He's got a book signing coming up.
That's right. January 9th at down on the Hollywood Strip at Book Soup. That's on a Monday. Yep. 7:00 p.m. And he's going to be doing signing and talking about, everything in the book. And I hope that the birthday girl is going to be able to make it out for it because she and I were talking about it. I plan on going up for it. And actually, I have planned a lunch with him as well. But aside from that, I just am so psyched for him that he's getting this signing.
Yeah.
And, the Book Soup is huge in the Sunset Strip area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony, I check your text messages. I sent you a photo of the street shot of Book Soup. If you want to be able to pull that up and show people.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on.
But yeah, Book Soup is it's a staple of Sunset Boulevard. It's one of those. Charles knows it. Keith knows it. We've all driven by it 100 times. So it's and bookstores like that are few and far between nowadays.
That thing is a relic, an ancient relic.
Yeah.
And it is really just existing because of the genre of LA. It's kind of a niche.
There you go. Yep.
There it is.
Yep. There it is. Yeah, and anybody who has a popular book that's out, will always have a signing there in the Sunset Strip.
Yep.
That is so cool. So cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's not a big place either.
When I released my book, I tried to have a book signing there, and they told me to come in after hours. And
Neil, that's when you've got one of those kind of books, brother.
Yeah, I know. Come on.
Yeah, they didn't want me there because they knew that I was ratting out people that come into the bookshop.
Plus they wanted you to clean up afterwards.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, we are going to do a show on your book sometime in the future, brother. We're going to do that. It is
Simon, we still got to get you a copy. I apologize. I think you brought this up last year around Christmas time, and I haven't gotten you a copy
of
Neil's book.
That book right there.
Oh yeah, dude, I would love a copy of that. Love it.
I got to get you one. My apologies. I think you asked me for it a long time ago, and I never.
You may think Neil. But you read this book, and I swear to you.
Where can Keith get one of these?
Yes, where can I get one, Neil?
You can get one by going to Amazon.com. Don't answer yet. No. It's on Barnes and Nobles and I think Borders, if they still have sites. you can get copies through that. Most people I know get it from Amazon. You can look it up. It's Neil Daly, and the book's called Omnibus Prime. It's real easy to find. It's like $17 or something like that. You can get it, and
I'll get it on Amazon too, Neil. No problem.
It's an Amazon Prime delivery too. So if you order it now, you can get it within the next 3 or 4 days. It's definitely for people that want it for a holiday gift. You can get it in time. There's still time to get it.
Plus too, if you stop in like to buy this latest Guitar World,
there you
and
go.
you want to get a latte too, I'll always check to see if that particular location has got Neil's book, because sometimes you'll be surprised, but just check and see if they got it. Neil Daly Omnibus Prime, or just Neil Daly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, sure. I know a couple of people. I think Ed has asked me for a copy of the book. Simon, you guys have. I apologize for not getting around to it. You guys, I owe you one. I definitely owe you one.
No, it's fine, brother. I'm more than happy to get one from Amazon.
But back to trivia.
Yeah.
Has anyone got? No, I'm guessing nobody's got the answer yet.
No,
nobody. So I'm still not. Let me. All right. So
I'm just saying, keep guessing. So
I'm going to show this again. Let's look at this again. All right. So, what song was played during David Lee Roth's high school graduation? All right. Let's stop right there. And I'm going to give you a hint. So listen up. He has said this on more than one occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's your hint, and here is your second hint, and this is going to be the final and the big hint.
Oh no!
I still love some of the guesses.
You're not going to do it, are you?
They're
Ryan
great.
Hall.
They're fantastic. Yeah,
Bing
they're
Crosby's
fantastic.
White Christmas. Ryan Hall.
I'm going to reword this song. I'm going to reword this question in another way, which will contain your hint. So here we go.
Okay.
What song was played on loop during David Lee Roth's high school graduation?
They're hard hints, dude.
And that's all you get.
He's not giving it away.
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's not giving it away.
So here's what I'm going to say. You need to know what year he graduated. You need to know what school he graduated from. And there's your clues.
Matter of fact, I'm going to change it in here.
That's tricky.
By the way, Sandra is just killing people in the chat.
Yeah, she is.
She is being relentless.
Burn.
Yep. Nope.
Let it rip.
Hey,
So
Matt Stewart.
he has.
Welcome to Halenville, brother.
David Lee Roth has said this on more than one occasion. And that's all I can tell you. That should be enough.
You shouldn't have to tell any more. Anything more than that, you're giving it away.
Yeah, make them earn it. Make them earn it. We
Yeah.
got all night.
Yeah.
That's right.
So what song was played on loop?
How bad do you want it? How
You got a
bad do you
killer
want it?
weekend awaiting.
Yeah.
Just give me the name of the song.
Backstage plus New Year's.
Mm.
Come on. Bring it.
I'm surprised nobody guessed so far Simon's version of Happy Birthday to Holly.
That will most likely, that moment will most likely on the replay contain a timestamp.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, you guys, come on.
I feel like people are losing steam. The guesses aren't coming in.
Yeah,
as fast now.
it's really hard. Really good question. Good question.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be forced.
Yeah, you might have to throw
I'm
a
gonna be
bone.
forced to give you guys another. All right, I'm gonna give
No,
you guys.
don't do it. Don't do it.
No, I'm
They
not
have to
gonna do
work
that.
for this.
I'm not gonna do that.
Just to play devil's advocate, we really need a winner, don't we? We
Yeah.
kind of really want winners
Yeah.
here.
But come on, they have to know this
So
stuff.
yeah, so you got to give them hints because we
All
got to
right,
have the
so
winners.
all right. So what
Oh.
song was played on loop during David Lee Roth's high school graduation? Now he said this a couple of different times. He said it. I think he said it. He might have said it on stage in the final tour. A few nights, maybe every night. Can't recall if
Nope.
he did on my
Not every night.
No,
Not every night.
Not
Not every night.
But I've
There's
heard
one
it either.
specific night he did say it though.
But there was another either in his book, Crazy from the Heat, or either when they did the downtown sessions. You know, that time frame. It seems like it was.
Now you're giving a lot away.
Come on,
Oh.
guys! We're giving you all this stuff. Come on, man.
Yeah. He's giving it away to you now.
Jay Turner in the chat, you guys.
Jay, what's up?
Mean Street,
What's
right
up,
on.
Jay?
Hey, Jay.
Hey, I got one of those. Yeah. Right here, brother.
Right on.
Yeah. Thank you for these, man. Love
Lenny,
them.
Lou, and Mary. It's good to see you. Love
Hey,
you guys.
Lenny Lou.
Love to marry. Man.
R2, R3, the Bay City Rollers.
Need a
this?
song
How
title.
about this? Can we tell
Rock
them
and
songs
Robin.
it's not?
No.
Oh, come on.
So should we reveal the artist?
No.
Oh man.
If you need to have a winner, you're going to have to help these people out a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. I don't
I
think
agree.
people are gonna get it.
No, it's really, really tricky for sure.
So yeah, so there's your question. What song was played on loop during David Lee Roth's high school graduation?
Yankee Rose.
We already said you got to think about where he graduated from
Mm-hmm.
and what year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
And,
those are the two biggest hints that you could possibly have.
And he's also said it in his book and on stage during which tour? The final tour.
The last one. Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun.
How about this? It's not a Mammoth song. How about that? It wasn't written by Wolfgang. I hope that helps.
And it wasn't written pre-Van Halen either. The original Mammoth.
Right. Yeah. That Mammoth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff K. That's a fine. All right. That's taking the clues into account.
Yes.
That is Ryan too.
Yeah. Those. All right.
All right. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
He's getting there.
All right. So take yourself back to the era, the time period when David Lee Roth graduated from high school, what it would have been like in his neighborhood. There's another hint.
Neighborhood.
Dun, 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 dun.
Got it, essay? And that's all I'm going to say.
Oh,
Even if
the people in your neighborhood.
the band
In
name,
your neighborhood.
Yep.
they still
In your
will have to dig.
neighborhood. Who are the people in your neighborhood?
So you guys are on the right track. I'm seeing the answers. We just need a song title.
In your
You can do it, man.
In your neighborhood. Good guess, Andy, but no.
Dun, 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 dun. All right, I'm gonna give you guys one final hint.
That's not it either.
Was it a hit in Australia? Oh, that's good.
Kind of the reason why that little square wooden piece on the 2015-2012 stage was kind of there for, was so he could. I'm trying, Keith. I'm trying. I know, man. I know.
You're pushing it, Smalls.
I'm trying.
You're pushing it way too far.
I'm trying over here.
Yeah, but we're going on
I
20
know.
minutes now.
I know.
Yeah.
And we're throwing
Is this-
every freaking bone out here. There are 234 bones in the body. How many do you need?
Throw me a freaking bone. would ya?
Sandra- Sandro's about to yell at us.
It rhymes with something,
We're-
something, something, something.
Yes. No. So what we're gonna have to do. What we're gonna have to do is to. I see nothing but cool kids in the chat. All right, nothing but cool kids. So I think it would be okay at this juncture with who I see in everyone in the chat. We're gonna give them the artist. Okay?
Yeah, I think that's fair at this point.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Because you guys have had some great answers, and you're on the right
They're great.
track.
Yeah.
Just need a little.
I saw something that was leaning a little bit towards the right direction. One song.
All right, so
If you're going to give him the artist name, just remember, people in the chat, that spelling counts in your answer.
Yes, it does.
spell it.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Yep. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
So that should be a clue.
All right.
So before you do that, let's go over the clues. Okay. David Lee Roth's graduation. So we're gonna you think about the year he graduated. Okay. Where he graduated from, what high school. What else were we talking about? He said it live in a book.
If somebody's got a
And he
in the
also said
chat,
it on
if somebody's got a
on the final
vibe
tour.
on an artist, take a guess, and I'll put it on the screen before I tell you who the
Bet
artist
Tom,
is.
Red
Any
Ball
guesses?
Jets. That's good, Tom.
Red Ball Jets. That's
that's
a good.
good.
There we
That's
go.
nice.
Who
I
you
like
think
it.
it is, kids? Who you think the artist is, at least?
Okay, Dan in New Jersey. I see he's got that. He's got the high school.
Mm.
California Girls. All right. You need a song title, not okay. So Elvis, the Beach Boys, James Brown, and yes,
Puff the Magic
great
Dragon.
answers, but no. I'll tell them. All right. So kids, get ready to type the answer because it is. We are talking about. Here we go. We're talking about a Santana song. Bring it.
All right. Let's
And
go.
I'm saying, come on.
Everybody's
AJ,
racing to
bring
their
it.
phones right now to Google it.
You get one of these. You get to hang with us all weekend. You get this pass, a handful of picks. Anything else? Yes.
Yep.
A lot
And
of coolness
extra
coming your
unknown
way.
$1 million.
A lot of coolness coming your way. And the guesses have arrived.
That
Nope.
was my other guess, Holly.
And nope.
Yeah.
And here they come.
And here they
Yeah.
come.
Nope,
Keep 'em
nope,
coming.
nope,
Bang,
nope,
bang, bang.
nope.
Think about the
Nope.
clue. Spelling counts.
Spelling.
Think about that.
Spelling.
Mhm.
Spelling.
Think about
And
the
if
spelling.
no hints of something.
We have something.
We did it! We did it! Holly Lewis is the first winner.
What did I say?
Yes,
Woo!
she is.
Birthday girl.
Not
On
bad.
your
I told
birthday,
you.
it's your birthday, it's your birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-doo. Happy birthday, whoop-de-doo to you, Holly.
Holly, you are the winner. That is what they played on loop. Let me show the official for the timestamp. Kaboom. There is your answer. Holly Lewis is the first winner of this contest. Holly gets to come backstage with us, and we are going to have such a good time. She'll be able to come back the following night, hopefully, and join us on New Year's right here. Yeah, congratulations, Holly. One more time. Happy birthday.
Well done, sweetheart.
Congratulations, sweetheart.
You did it. All right.
That was nearly impossible.
Told
That was
you.
nearly
That was a tough one.
impossible. That's right. It holds true,
don't even think
though.
I
So
kn-
I had to
I
give
don't
him a
even think I
couple of
know that
hints,
song.
but it's still nearly
Mhm.
impossible.
I love it.
Great job, hon.
Well
love
done,
it so
Tony.
much.
Good question. Good question, Tone.
Great
Great
question.
job, Halls.
Yep.
Great question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
I got.
right.
Tony
I gotta-
has done it again.
All
Yeah,
right.
I gotta say,
so
yeah,
let me
the-
ask Keith this before we move on. If you were in the chat tonight, on which hint would you have gotten that answer, or would you have?
Well, okay. I'm gonna explain everything to everybody because he told me about it on Monday. Okay. And I had the year, the school, and the artist down. But I totally brain farted on the song, and I had everything except for the right song. And it took me like 5 minutes, and then he told it to me. I was like, "Oh my god, I should have had that one." It was like, duh, no brainer. Just like Neil said
Yeah.
in the backstage. Holy crap,
Right.
we should have
Yeah.
had that.
Well, he
Keith-
said that actually on the very last Van Halen show ever.
Yeah, yep. He said it while they were playing "Dance the Night Away" because they were
Right.
talking about how
You guys
everything
didn't
is-
hear me the whole time going dun 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 dun. Yeah.
Nah, that's not even a song I know that well. So even with you singing,
Oh,
Tony,
yes,
it's,
it is.
it meant.
That's on the breakdown of "Dance the Night Away."
Right.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so
Yeah,
Keith,
and-
tell me, so why is which high school he went to a clue?
Because he went to John Muir High School, which was a mixed race school, and they had a lot of Mexicans and Hispanic heritage people lived there. So
Okay.
it was very Mexican, and he grew up listening to all of that kind of music.
Right.
The
and
Mexican,
there was
the dance music, the disco, and it was part of his his lifestyle.
the whole gist of the getting the question, and he made comparisons to what they actually did play at his graduation, but what that he asked Alex, and he didn't know, if anything, probably nothing, but they speculated maybe Smoke on the Water.
Yeah, they played "Smoke on the
Yeah.
Water" during their
So if
graduation.
any of you heard that on stage, or there was another interview.
If you actually go back to them playing "Dance the Night Away" during the Hollywood Bowl show, the final show, he has it all explained out there. He talks all about it, and he also talks about it in his book, "In Crazy from the Heat."
Right.
Yep.
So it was a good one.
Nice one, Ryan.
Not close, huh?
Not even, right?
No, I was just trying to put it back to that moment in that show that I assume all of us have watched, and
Yeah. That's funny.
Hey, just as a quick side note before I forget, Jay Turner is doing a one-on-one. Jay Turner's the bass player for Mean Street. Van Halen
Yeah.
cover band. He's a local North Carolina boy. He is on my and Tony's bucket list, but he has a one-on-one bass lesson with Billy Sheehan this Saturday morning.
Wow.
That is
Really?
badass, brother. Absolutely
Yeah.
badass.
Right. In person too.
That's awesome.
Not on.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Now, is he
Yeah.
teaching Billy Sheehan anything, or is it the other way around?
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's all.
So
That's
Very
so
cool,
awesome.
Jay, dude.
in person. Yes, sir.
Very cool,
Congratulations,
brother.
man. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
dude.
That's
Can't
awesome.
wait to hear about that.
I'd be like, ooh, shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
Right
take that one
on.
nervous hand and go.
No,
Yeah.
that is yeah. So that's this Saturday, Jay. Right on, dude.
It all comes back to Simon's story about Mr. Big.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Of course. Of course.
I
All
think
roads.
Jay's going to Nashville this weekend is where it's at. Yeah.
That's awesome. Damn.
Right on. Yeah.
So what's Billy doing there?
Who?
What's Billy doing in Nashville? Is he touring with
I
Mr. Big?
think he lives there. I think
Okay.
the past couple interviews I've seen of him or live streams, I think he lives there. I could be wrong, but I think he lives there.
Nashville's
A lot of rock
recording
guys
industry
live there.
has really
Yeah.
blown
Yeah.
up in terms of studio work. Like, I'm hearing more
Right.
and more LA-based musicians.
I'll
like,
be right back, fellas. I'm
Like,
gonna
I've
grab
heard,
some
like
tea.
the Smashing Pumpkins recently recorded a whole album in Nashville. Like, there's that the
Yeah,
studio industry there, the recording industry is blowing up in Nashville. So
Oh, it's beyond blown up. It's like oversaturated by now.
yeah.
I mean, the past 3 years since, like, I'd say the pandemic, it's been just converged on Nashville.
Yeah.
And if you look at NAMM, NAMM in Nashville is probably bigger, than it would be over in, up in Pasadena right now.
Oh,
Or
sure.
in,
Yeah. Oh,
not
definitely.
Pasadena, Anaheim. Sorry.
Right.
But,
Yeah. No,
I mean,
definitely. That would be huge in Nashville.
Yeah. Because, I mean, Summer NAMM there is just been getting huger and huger every year over the past 5-6 years. So.
Yeah, winery dogs are also coming to Charlotte. You're right, Jay.
Yeah, yeah, they are.
That's
They just released their tour.
that's
dates
on our
today.
radar, no doubt about it. We should all meet up at that show.
Mhm.
Although
Hmm.
I want to see Mean Street, so it'll all be good, man. It'll all be
Let me see
good.
if I can get in touch with Mikey. Maybe we
That's
can
awesome.
do this.
For those, Adam Roach just pointed out that he referenced Halenville in his updates for the books. That's really, really cool.
Nice.
For his
Nice.
digital book. That's awesome.
Mikey Mojo in the chat.
Hey, man.
Good to see you, bro.
Mikey! What's going on, brother?
Mikey!
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, Hoss, back on that question about you coming to the States, where else do you think you're going to be going? I mean, are we talking
Yes.
just kind of coming this way? Or are you going to do a little John around the world a little bit here and there? What are we talking?
I have to let you into some news that was super exciting for me, but also in the end super disappointing. But it's worth telling the story.
You're
is
sweet.
that
Okay.
the gentleman that I'm dealing with in New Zealand, Simon Roberts, is the one that the two of us
I'll be
are
right back.
sort of joining forces. He, for the last bunch of years, has run a show that you guys may have heard of, at least, called The Music of Cream, which deals with it. It's a show that has all relatives, either direct sons or a nephew or something of the original members of Cream.
Yep.
And they go around and do a show.
Wow.
And the other one that he's involved with was the Led Zeppelin experience with Jason Bonham. And so he's had experience taking essentially like a tribute show and touring it around the world. And so we've been in contact, and he wants to do the same thing for Van Halen and maybe call it Aussie Van Halen or something, you know.
You got goodies coming.
And so we're looking at this point, of course, is he's got some contacts from his other shows already in the States. So we're looking at doing a run. We're really, of course, shooting for summer next year for you guys. So middle of the year. As far as other countries, Not sure yet, but yes, it's looking like there could be some European stuff and a few other things. But actually, what happened but fell through at the last minute because of it just was too hard to lock in at short notice. He had a project over in Holland in March, which is only 3 months away, that pulled out. And so he was putting us in for the very first international stuff we ever did was going to be 3 shows in Holland.
Oh, wow.
And of course, and we thought that would have just been so amazing because obviously that's their birthplace. And to start something internationally by beginning it in Holland, we were pretty excited by that. The money wasn't going to be very good. It was kind of a bit of a shoestring and sort of pulling it together, but we didn't care about that, of course. But unfortunately, it fell through because his contact over there just was too unreliable.
Wow.
But that was, and then probably what was going to happen is on the back of that, we might have even tried to string some stuff and come straight to the States. So
it'll work
but it's
out. It'll all work out.
It will work out. But realistically, by the time that
Mikey
it's,
Mojo,
I mean,
what's
because
up,
it's
dude?
it's December now. Realistically, by the time it would get booked in and with venues to be available and all of that, we'd be looking at your summer anyway.
See you, Andy.
I would say. So
Mhm.
yeah, see you, Andy.
Thank you, bro.
Hey, Simon.
Be safe, Andy.
So,
Simon, do you have your Instagram
Yes.
open? Can you check your message? I just sent you a question really quick that I don't know if I should approach on air or not. So I don't want to say anything without your permission, but
oh yeah, right. We can talk about that. That's fine. I mean, I wasn't asked to not mention anything particularly. And to be honest, I haven't heard back from him since our original chat. So I don't know whether that means that the idea's gone a bit cold or it's too far in the future. I don't really know what it might mean. Just nothing at all, because some people don't use messages on Instagram all the time. But I'll tell everyone here. So I was contacted by Nuno Betancourt, and he was saying he was essentially saying to me that he's attempting to put together some sort of a Dave Grohl style tribute to Eddie, since no one else in the family seems to be wanting to do it. I actually think Nuno would be a great guy to do that. I think he'd be perfect. Yeah,
Absolutely.
he'd be a great guy. And he wasn't specifically or upfront asking me if I wanted to be a part of it. Of course, it goes without saying I would very happily be. But yeah, that goes without saying. But no, he was actually just more picking my brains. What he's been doing, I think, is going around to all the guitarists that he considers can sort of capture Eddie's emotion and tone fairly well.
Yeah.
And there's obviously a whole bunch of people around the world that do that great. And so I think what he's been doing is trying to suss out, like, he's trying to get inspiration for different ways of capturing Eddie's sound. And so he was asking me like how I did it on the Melbourne Guitar Show and stuff like that. And so obviously I told him how I did it, which you guys know. And that was, that was when I stopped hearing from him. So maybe he wasn't really into the way that I did it. But no, it was, but look,
maybe he was
I mean, Nuno's one of,
Right?
nah, Nuno's one of my childhood heroes for sure. And, I mean, I can't even tell you how many hours I listened to those first 3 Extreme records. And I remember, like, I used to carve his name into the wooden school desks with a whatever I had, like a compass or a knife or something. And so all around my high school would have been the word Nuno. And I'm sure the teachers and the cleaners would have looked at this and gone, "What's Nuno?" You know. But,
Can you talk at least, like, give us some insight into what it was like getting contacted by him? Like, did you believe it was him?
Right.
Like, how does?
No, of course, no. Well, of course not, because the first thing that happens is you get contacted and hi Simon, this is Nuno, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, oh yeah, of course it is, yeah, great, you know. But then the way that he wrote it, I was like, if this was just a guy.
Adam?
Yeah, I thought it was Adam Roach, exactly. Yeah. No, yeah, it's actually at the time, I don't know if you guys remember, but he was running a competition where guitarists from all around the world could send in their version of the song Play With Me, and then they would win whatever it was. And it was at that time. And so I was asking him, like, how's it all going and stuff. So what I think is a possibility, because the first message read totally like it was from a guitarist. The subsequent messages kind of read very matter of fact. So I think probably, and look, it's what do you call it? It's a verified profile. It's got the blue tick and all of that stuff. I have no doubt that it was him reaching out, but I think probably once he'd reached out, it was probably his PA that was doing the reply.
Oh, I'm sure he has somebody handle his social media. I'm sure that's
yeah.
The case.
So because I told him the story I just told you guys about carving his name onto the desk. I thought, should I tell him that, or does that make me a dweeb? And I thought, no, you should tell him. He should know that he was an influence on you,
Sure.
And
yeah, why not?
And
yeah,
here's the thing, though.
I guess.
Sorry to interrupt,
Yeah, go on.
Neil. But,
no, go on.
Not to be contradictory to Neil, but Mike Portnoy, he does his own correspondence, so it could have very well been.
Yeah, but Fruitcake Tony doesn't. So it's like, who knows? Like, what level of celebrity do you have to get until you're no longer handling that stuff?
That's
Tony
right.
Tony has people handle all his stuff.
In all seriousness, it's interesting how just yesterday Joe Satriani comes out and says that him and Alex and David Lee Roth and Sammy and Michael had planned New York. He spoke specific about a New York show last summer, August of 2021. Yeah.
We keep hearing about all of these things that people got together and planned and did this, that, and the other thing. Zippity doo-dah is what we've seen. So
correct, Charles.
I'm tired of it. It's time for something to happen.
True.
Whether
what?
Alex is involved or not, if he's not involved, so be it. But the fans are going to have their way,
Yeah, Charles, I 100% agree. I think we're all really tired of the social media talk about it. It's very clear that for whatever his reasons are, and I'm sure they're very good ones, that Alex just does really not want to because really, in the same way that Dave Grohl put together something for Taylor, you would think if anyone was leading the charge, it would be his brother Alex, right?
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, whether he's still in mourning or any other very good reasons we might not know about, Alex just doesn't seem. I was listening to the Dave and Dave podcast the other day, and they were saying that they had an insider that knew Alex, and they just said he is just completely not interested. So
it's
in being a part of it, which is a shame, but that's his call if he doesn't want to do it. But I think if Alex doesn't want to be a part of it, which I think would be awful. I mean, we all love Alex to be the backbone of whatever tribute concert happened. I'm sure, and maybe with a revolving carousel of different guitarists from all around the world, however you want to do it, but with Alex and say Mikey as the backbone. But look, if it can't happen because Alex and Mikey aren't getting along, or Sammy and Dave don't want to, it just seems so complicated. So maybe what it'll take is someone like Nuno to just go, okay, I don't care who doesn't want to be involved. I'm going to put it together with the greatest rock musicians around the world, and it does it. And if the Van Halen family don't want to be a part of it, if Wolfie doesn't want to be a part, then so be it.
Well, interesting enough, Wolf has basically already participated himself and done a tribute to his father in the most huge way, and it came out of left field with absolutely no
warning.
Nobody knew what was going to happen.
Right.
So he's already done a tribute to his dad,
Let me ask you this, Hoss, is Nuno, was he just testing the waters to see what your thoughts were, or did he say that he was actively pursuing something?
Well, Look, let me pull it up, and I'll see if I can read it out, because obviously if there's something in there that might not be for public consumption, I won't read the whole thing. But to give you an idea, let me see.
Did he send you dirty
Way
pictures?
down my message.
Stop it, Neil.
Yeah.
Be nice. We're talking serious here. Come on. And this is for Eddie. And my own opinion, I think Nuno is spot on. If he's going to do it, let him do it.
I agree.
Let the fans have what they want.
I think it goes back to when we had talked about this when we first brought up the possibility of this thing, when we first heard Jason Newsted talking to the media and stuff months ago, when we all kind of threw out our idea. Simon, you were on with us when we talked about how we think what would be the ideal version of the show, and we talked about should they do a tour, or should they do just a one night and all this other stuff. And I think we all kind of agreed Nuno would be the ideal candidate to do something like that.
He's not only did he grow up as a huge fan of Eddie's, like we all did, but then he's gone on to have his own incredible career, but also in an era where it was pretty hard to have a unique sound as a guitarist, and a lot of it had been done. The neoclassical stuff was done by Yngwie, and then Eddie had his more blues with a little bit of Mozart put in it, approach, and then we had all the Nashville guys and Dan Huff and everybody and Steve Lukather, and it was I can't even. And then you got these, the Zach Wilds and Slash, so many different rock guitar sounds. For Nuno to come up with his own identifiable sound in an era where a lot of it had been already stamped, you have to give kudos to the guy. But also, as we know, he's a great musical director. He used to musical direct Rihanna and all this stuff. I think he's obviously a very proactive guy, and he's always busy. I think, given his reverence for Ed and how great a player he is in his own right, I also have a strong feeling Nuno would have not made the tribute show about himself. He would have just wanted to put it together like what Dave Grohl did. And I think that my ideal thing, the thing that would just touch my heart would be if he could convince Alex and Mikey to be part of the rhythm section. And then whatever Sammy and Dave want to do, if they don't want to be on stage together, they'll figure it out. Who cares, right? Because I think we're all over that as well. Like David was saying, I'll never get on a stage with Sammy, and Sammy saying, I'll never get on a stage. Well, if that's the way, if they can't even meet eye to eye for one or two big concerts, tribute concerts, I think the touring it thing is not in the question ever. There you go. I think, But I think that given the success of the Taylor Hawkins tribute, if anyone like Alex is sitting back looking at that going, okay, that I could do one or two shows,
Rose Bowl.
I think having Alex why not? Having Alex and Mikey as the backbone of the thing, and then having Nuno direct it all. Obviously, Nuno would get up and play some songs, and then he would have his other favorite guitarists in the world get up and play some songs. Sammy and Dave can come in and out or not be a part of it at all, because at this point I couldn't care less with whether they want to be a part of it or not. We just want to see something for Ed, And if they can't get over their differences, then fine, don't be a part of it, But there's so many great rock singers that would happily get up and sing Van Halen songs, male and female.
That's the
so
key.
To me,
that's the key. If they're not going to put something together, somebody's going to step up and put something together. Might as well be
Nuno. Yes,
and
I think Nuno would be the perfect guy.
Won't jump up on this. A production company.
Oh, they would. They totally would.
Yeah. The template's already there. It's established. Just copy what they did for Taylor Hawkins. It's like
exactly
that was a
right.
perfect formula. Now you don't have to do any work. Just copy that.
Yeah.
Copy the formula. You would have there would be nobody you would ask that would say no. You'd even get Carlos Santana saying yes. You would get, obviously, Dweezil would be involved, and maybe Dweezil and Nuno, the two of them could put it together. Yeah, put it together as a duo. I could see Dweezil being involved very heavily.
Sure, I could too.
I just think, you know what? If it's too hard because Sammy and Dave can't get along, sorry, but stuff them. Do it anyway do it without him, and they'll regret it for the rest of their lives. So be it.
And Wolfgang's not going to be involved because he's so busy with his
I think
Mammoth deal.
Yeah, I agree.
If it gets done,
yeah.
he may give it his blessing. Because he knows how much everybody admired Eddie. And if Al doesn't have anything to do with it, that's on Al.
So something tells me though
that's
that
on
Wolf
Al,
will come though. I mean, if they if everybody didn't, if Dave didn't come or whatever, I understand. But at the end, if Sam and Mike are there and Uncle Al and a bunch of other people, I think Wolf would.
I think so too, Tony.
Unless he's
I think
on
that
tour and already committed or whatever,
Well, that might be the case. Look, I think we could all see at this point that Alex might decide to not be involved if something happened because he's been so silent and just not interested in putting something together himself. But I'd be very surprised if Wolfie, Eddie's son, wouldn't want to at least get up and do what he did at Taylor's thing and play a couple of songs, But really, I mean, I got to say, this is going to sound harsh, but for me, one of the greatest disappointments of the 21st century so far is that Edward Van Halen passed away and nothing has been done. I don't even understand it. I don't understand it on any level. It's
Simon,
really horrifying.
Simon, right before I left LA, it was like probably February, maybe early March. To our mutual friend Toshi Inagi, who plays in the Brown M&Ms and Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
He invited me. Sure. He had me be a guest at the whiskey. Was it the whiskey? Yeah, no, it wasn't the whiskey. It was maybe it was. I don't know. It was one of the Sunset Strip clubs. But maybe the Roxy or something. But it was
the tribute show, right?
A tribute to Van Halen, and they probably Eddie Trunk hosted it, and had a bunch. It was just this revolving door of musicians. Some guitar players stayed on with a couple of different singers, and then some bands would come and swap out. But there was never more than like 10 minutes between a set, and it was just a fun, open, like very loving community of artists coming together and doing something like that. And I kind of keep having that in the back of my mind because I saw it happen right in front of me. I saw it, and it made me realize, I hate to say it, but you don't need Alex, you don't need Sam, Dave, you don't I would love to have them.
No, you don't.
We all agree. We would love to have them be a part
of it. Yeah, of course we would.
But you don't need it. You don't need it.
Well,
no.
What I do think you need in some capacity, even if Sam and Mike don't show or Dave and Wolf don't show, you need somebody there who, I mean, if Alex is not there, you need somebody to represent all the eras of the music. Because if a bunch of
artists,
is
Alex,
if it's 20 different other people
right.
coming and they're doing Van Halen tunes, you have to really represent the Hagar era as well, which hadn't been represented since.
But that stuff could be ironed out pretty easily.
Like,
when you're lining up bands, when you're lining up people to come, like just singers, it wouldn't be that hard to talk to people and saying, hey, this is what we've got. What can you offer? Like, not everybody can sing the same song. It's, that's common sense. So with
that said, they haven't done half the catalog in modern
since
times.
04.
But I think they would, though. I think he would be easy, especially a younger generation of singers and stuff now might be more influenced by Sammy Hagar's material rather than Dave. So I don't think it would be hard to put together a lineup.
I'll tell you the other reason that the Sammy Hagar era stuff is far less represented, even in tribute bands all around the world, is because that stuff is nearly impossible to sing.
Yes.
It is. It's the exact reason why when I did the Corner Hotel, I had
You
to
had a
hire
girl.
I had to get some of my awesome female session singers to sing the Sammy stuff, and get this. And even Nina, who you guys know on the channel,
Yeah.
she said, "Can we please put it down a semitone?" And that's a female singer. So, I mean, the truth is, it's just easier for tribute bands to find a guy that can croon like Roth and put on a wig or whatever than it is to find. I mean, look, all you got to do is look at live Van Halen stuff with Sammy singing. He can't even sing those parts live.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So the truth is, they were like once in a lifetime takes in a controlled environment in a recording studio after warming up all day, and then that's it. So what I mean, that is superhuman male singing, is what that is.
Yeah.
So,
Even those 95 shows. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Well, I
So
think even
that's
on
why-
even on Live Without a Net, Simon, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the 5150 the song? Was that tuned down to D in that live concert?
Oh, okay. So 5150 is in the key of D, but yes, actually, I'm pretty sure I'd have to double check that. I know most of the gigs, strangely enough, even though we know the first few albums he was tuned down to E flat, I'm pretty sure Live Without a Net he was tuned to regular tuning.
Standard.
But I'd have to double check it, but I'm pretty sure that's right, because I remember when I was learning the Live Without a Net solo to do that thing with your guitar, Neil, that I was surprised. I was surprised to learn that when I played it on YouTube, I went, "Oh, that's standard tuning." Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Interesting. I've never played along to that concert video, so wow, I didn't realize that. I assumed everything was.
Neither had I. Yeah,
I assumed everything was Sammy was tuned down.
But you know, coming back full circle to where this conversation, this part of the conversation started, I think all of us feel the same in that we're tired of the rhetoric and the double talk and the social media crap, and we're tired of also seemingly no one doing anything about it. So I agree with you, Neil. I think that if Alex and Wolfie and whoever else don't want to be involved, so be it. It would be a damn shame, because Alex is the one thing that can tie every era of Van Halen together.
Yeah.
So, of course, we'd love to see him playing for all these different singers and different guitarists. But if Alex doesn't want to do it, I agree with you. I think that the show should get put on anyway. There's plenty of amazing drummers in the world that would love to get up and play 2 or 3 songs.
Yeah.
And everyone can give their version of what they grew up with in their heart, you know?
I could throw one other person in. Steve Lucas.
What's that? Oh, yeah.
Throw Lucas over there as well.
Luke, Luke could be there in a heartbeat. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. In fact, there's a really great new interview with him on the Sunset Sound page. If you haven't seen that, it's killer. Yeah.
Watch it, please. Everybody watch that interview, because he does bring out a lot of good points with him and Eddie, and the Beat It thing also. You know, that he records killer. They recorded it inside 5150 and not at Westlake.
Yeah. But anyway, getting back to how this all started with Nuno contacting me. So all he wrote initially was, "Hey, Simon, Nuno here. I have a few questions for you regarding your EVH playing. You're a great player, man." So then obviously I wrote back to him, and I was like, so I didn't write back at first. I thought, this is not right. But then his profile had the blue tick and it says 250,000 followers. So I thought, okay, maybe it's him, you know? So I wrote, "Hey, doing blah, blah, blah. I'm happy to answer any of your questions." And then he said this: "Well, I'm working on putting something together to celebrate Edward. And although I have no choice but to sound like me playing his stuff, I'm reaching out to a handful of people that I've heard and have seen who are nailing his sound and tone, etc. Because as much as I have always played Eddie's stuff in my own way, really celebrating him, I'd like to at least give the VH fans as much as I can to what they've all grown accustomed to. And you and a few others that I'm reaching to have made the effort as well. So I'm gathering as much perspective on gear and pedals, etc., to do it again." And then he goes on to say some other stuff. But that's essentially the gist of why he contacted me.
Wow.
That's pretty cool,
First of all, how flattering is that coming from Nuno talking about you being somebody that he's reaching? I mean, props to you, Simon. That's
dude.
amazing.
You know,
Yeah, from
That's
him,
amazing.
from that coming from him,
Yeah,
that is huge.
yes.
I have to tell you, I'm sure you would guess this anyway, that as you guys know, I never ever blow my own trumpet, but I have to tell you, that was a pretty special day because, like I said, Nuno was one of my heroes growing up, just the same as Eddie and Ingve and Steve Vai and all Lukather and I listened to Nuno at least as much as all those other guys, probably not as much as Eddie, but but a lot.
Yeah.
And like I said, I used to carve his name into the school desks. And for a while there, he was just, for a good 2 years when Extreme were those first 3 records, he was my god, I used to remember like the liner lyrics to the first record, the song Play With Me, where the lyrics are in the verses are just listing all the different types of games that kids play,
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bit where it says Simon Says, and all the BVs jump in, and in the liner, and in the liner notes, it's even typed in that one thing is typed in capital. And I just went, what a 16-year-old thinks. You go,
Right.
They're talking to me. They're talking to me, and it's me, not that Nuno was talking to me and Gary Sharon, but it was like a sign from God. It's like, oh my God, Simon Says,
Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't obviously tell him that, but I did tell him I used to carve his name into the desk at school. So anything he wants to know, no problem. But yeah, look, of course it was extremely flattering. And I really, 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 really hope that he's in the throes of doing that. I hope that the fact that I haven't heard from him for a while isn't because it's taken a back seat to something else. I hope that it's because he's busy doing it. And who knows, maybe there'll be a big announcement and he'll surprise us all. But
Haas, Alex Van Halen, his entire career has been, he's elusive. He's in the background. He doesn't come out and really voice his opinion too much.
Yeah.
It would be a shame for him to go out this legacy without anything else from him, because he is the fans have all really been waiting for him to say something and to be out there. His brother passed away. He didn't. And it's a shame that we don't hear more from him.
I totally agree. I mean, Alex, for me, the Van Halen sound doesn't matter which singer, which bass player, but the Van Halen sound is the two of those brothers playing together. And as we've talked about many times, and as it documented very well in all the great books that have been written, that Alex's sound is as much the Brown sound as Eddie's was ever the Brown sound. That sound of his snare drum and the tone of his kick drum on all the records, but especially the first 6, is as much a part of Van Halen. So the fact that, I mean, obviously we all understood when no one heard from Alex for the first 6 months, then the first 12 months, then the first 2 years. But I feel like, okay, man, it's been long enough. Like, I understand that it's heartbreaking, but it's heartbreaking for the whole world too,
Yeah.
And the fact that there's been just no global celebration of Eddie Van Halen, whether it's a documentary, whether it's a tribute concert, I just think is a tragedy. It's such a tragedy because not only did he redefine electric guitar playing, and no one disagrees with that, not even people that don't like him that much disagree with that, but he was one of the nicest, smiling, happiest, joyous guys that ever in rock and roll. And he gave so much, and obviously he gave so much of himself despite his issues that it ended up costing his life. And the fact that there's just nothing, apart from all these amazing books, which we do have to say that there's so many, everyone's written some amazing things that have let us in behind the curtain a bit. But and my Christmas came early as well. Burp.
Yeah.
So yeah, but. Look, I know I'm not speaking for myself. I know I speak for not only you guys here, but also every single person in the chat that that we haven't got to celebrate Eddie the way that Taylor Hawkins has been celebrated is mind-bendingly bananas to me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
There's one thing that
And how quickly that came about.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, to show it can be done. It can be done. Yeah.
One thing that everybody forgets, though. Alex has never performed with another guitarist ever. ever
Well,
in his career.
there is that. You're right. You bring up a really, really good point. And to be honest, and I've said this to you guys too before, we know Eddie used to moonlight playing with some other things. He'd sit in with the Letterman band and he'd do this and
Right.
that.
Alex did one performance outside Van Halen with Eddie, and that was in Dallas with the Kenny Chesney band.
But truthfully to me, and I say this about my Guitar Hero, whenever Eddie wasn't playing with Alex, I don't really like his playing that much. I hate to say it, but there was a magic that happened with him and his brother, a magic.
Right.
And it's that expression, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. When you put the two things together, it's like, what was that old cartoon, Wonder Twin Powers Activate? It was like two planets colliding and making a sun. Eddie played great all the time, even when he was playing not with Alex, but he never really sounded like that magic Eddie to me when he wasn't playing with Al. And so maybe that's what Al's worried about, Keith. You might be right. It might be that he doesn't want to know how he sounds without his brother. Who knows?
Well, what I think is that Wolf said it not long ago, how with the members and the parties involved, it's so defunct it may never happen. And with their history of how they kept things online with the fan club, that we could very well not see anything offered from the band. It'll have to come from another source like Nuno, and we hope and pray that we get some participation from Sam and Mike, or everyone, you hope, but at least some participation from somebody. Sam and Mike at least.
How does not the death of one of the greatest guitarists that ever walked the face of the earth not have everyone just putting down their swords for a couple of nights?
Right.
How
You would
do
think.
you know what I mean? Okay, fine. You guys hate each other's guts. Fine, we all get that. How can you not put down your swords for one or two concerts to celebrate a revolution, like a Beethoven level musician? That's unfortunately, if that's the case, that says more about them than actually I want to know.
Yes, it does.
Because that's pretty.
Yes, it does.
That's pretty disgusting, actually.
It's sad. Yes, I agree.
It's sad. It's very, very sad if they can't do that for Eddie. I just think that's really sad. Yeah.
Agreed.
Well,
Hey, real quick. So I just got a text from Nuno Betancourt. He says, "Hey, Neil, love the show. Halenville rocks. Please tell Simon he's great, but stop sending me shirtless pics from the beach."
Ooh.
So
took it too far, Simon.
So that's probably why you stopped talking to me then. Okay. Well.
That's how you do it, though. That's how you get somebody's attention. That's how I get Neil's.
absolutely.
You send him a nudie.
Yep. Tony doesn't just carve Neil into his books and into the wood around it. He carves it into the people around him.
Yeah, I actually just not because I wanted to enter the Play With Me competition, because especially after we were chatting, I thought, well, it might have been something I would have done for fun. But since we were talking, it sort of felt a bit silly. You know what I mean? But I had already put something together for him that I was going to send him just for his shits and giggles. But then I didn't hear back from him, so I never sent it. But there's a funny video for me to upload one time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I should all kidding aside, let me point out I'm sure everybody in our chat has seen this, and Simon, they're familiar with you and your work, but I want to remind people, since we're talking about obviously how Nuno discovered you and your sound and researched it and then contacted you, was because of that show, the VH1 show. And I just want to kind of remind people again, that was an epic performance of musicianship, of music, of skill, of all these things. That's how I think myself, Ben Tom, like a number of people in the chat, like how we all kind of discovered you the same way Nuno did. And if anybody in the chat hasn't seen it yet, please go go check out Simon's page on YouTube. Look at his show. We all can't wait for the new one. We've been waiting with bated breath for 6 months.
Because the new one's going to have this whole other element, which, of course, like we were just saying, is now the set. Yes, of course, we do the David Lee Roth stuff still, but it's also got now the Sammy Hagar era stuff where I got to, borrow a friend Steinberger with the Trans Trem, and I got to kind of relive some of my Live Without a Net moments. And so, yeah, it's going to have a very different vibe. And also, we actually had a lighting guy, and it wasn't in an office building. So it'll look a bit better as well. And not to forget, sorry to interrupt, but on the Melbourne Guitar Show, I was using a $900 Mexican Strat with some electrical tape on it, and on this show, I was using this bad boy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very nice. Very nice.
So
Simon,
that's important to me as well.
Simon, let me ask you.
Yes. Sorry, of course, brother. Yeah.
How much experience do you have on a Steinberger, and how hard
Not
was
much.
it for you to adjust to it?
Zero experience previously on a Steinberger, and it wasn't that hard to adjust, other than that in in Summer Nights. It's not that he just lifts up and changes the key once. It just keeps going from the verse to the chorus. It keeps going back and forward. So you do have to kind of learn, okay, I've got to lift up the thing, then wind it off, then let it drop, and then find the right. There's all these little different notches like teeth, and each notch is a different key. So you've got to find the right notch. And believe me, at rehearsals, I can't tell you the amount of times I'd go back to the verse and flick it in the wrong key, and everyone would be going, stop. So, yeah, they take, in the way that Eddie used it, I mean, as we know with Ed, he never messed around when there was something innovative. He took it to the limit of its potential.
Right.
And I'm sure that the Steinberger guitar was not designed to be changing keys every 8 bars. It was...
Right.
8.
But
he did it in Get Up every 2.
Yeah, well, with Get Up, there's actually not that many full key changes. It's just that he was using the bar as a slide, basically, because, and that's why that it sounds like a slide guitar, because all the strings are going uniform, But with Summer Nights, that was the trickier one for me, because all the sections of the song are in a completely different key from each other, and if you miss the notch, you're in the wrong key. So thankfully on the night it went off without a hitch, but in the rehearsals it was pretty interesting for sure.
Didn't you tell me once that particular guitar you played for that song, wasn't it like twice as heavy? I think you told me once that it was heavy. It was like a beastly piece of wood that you were playing.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
give me 20 seconds. I'll grab it and show you. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, without that EVH Scott Smith, who we all know who he is. He's like the OG of builders.
Yeah,
he had one. And it's like the original style with the 1.5 Steinberger tremolo and everything. That thing was lighter than anything I could ever imagine. It felt like it was like maybe 4.5, 5 pounds.
Really?
And I just sat there and like, how the hell do you even get your head around this thing? And then Pete Carucci, he sits down, he just starts playing Summer Nights, and then starts playing Get Up. I'm like, oh my God. Why don't you own one of these already?
I remember when Simon was doing rehearsals for the Corner Hotel show and everything, and he was talking to me about this particular Steinberger that he's playing. I think he referenced the fact that it was like playing a tree. It was like that heavy, this monstrous piece of wood. And
well, that's the thing, because the one he has is made of wood, and Steinberger's not even. It's all graphite,
it's like fiberglass,
aluminum.
Right?
It's all lightweight parts. It's so lightweight, it's insane. And on me, a tiny little guy, it looks like a regular sized guitar.
Right.
On a regular sized guy, it's like it looks like you're
it looks
playing
like a
a
kid's
ukulele.
guitar. Yeah, it looks like a child's guitar. That's
So this is in the little gig bag. So the gentleman that I've borrowed this guitar from, what had happened was, so obviously it was never one of the cricket bat ones. It always had that with the horns, you know, that design. But the body had cracked, or there was some sort of an issue with it. So what this guy's a savant. His name's Paul Gale. He actually built my first ever custom guitar when I was 16 years old. I used to take the train from school on the way home, and this music store that he owned was halfway. So I would always get off the train and just go in there for like an hour and a half and just look at all the guitars on the wall. And so once the body cracked, he took all the parts off it and sculpted and made a brand new body out of this amazing piece of wood. But it is heavy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know what kind of
It's
wood
gorgeous. He told me, but I can't remember. I was too scared of the trans trim while he was talking.
That's solid?
Solid. There's no top. Yeah, look.
Wow.
How
Solid.
much does that weigh, Simon?
I mean, more than even any Les Paul that I've ever owned. It's very
Really?
heavy.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and it doesn't even have a headstock, so the thing is tiny, but it is the heaviest. I mean, it weighs like a heavy bass. You
Wow.
know?
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, figuring how that body is gorgeous, though. I love the finish.
Yeah, but if I put this close up, you can see
Look
at
at
the
that.
end of
Yeah.
the tremolo, there's like little tiny teeth where you
Yep.
plug in the arm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I got you.
little tiny. So that's how small a difference there is from one key to another. I mean, it's like a millimeter. So it's so easy,
Mhm.
you know, while you're running around on stage, it's so easy to just miss it. But
Yeah, it's like a 16th of
but
an
that's
inch
what-
for each key. Yeah.
oh, exactly. Yeah. Tiny.
That's
But,
awesome, though. That's awesome.
really cool.
Yeah.
dude.
Wow.
But you know, I was very it was the only one that I could find in Melbourne, and I was very grateful to have the loan of it, which I still have, obviously. Whoops.
Yeah, I was gonna say you still got it.
Hostage.
No, what? Yeah, I'm not giving it back. You know, yeah, no, it was awesome to be able to use that and then do some of the classic Sammy stuff that we all grew up with on Live Without a Net, like Get Up,
Yeah.
Summer Nights. You know, so yeah.
Have
really-
you tried
really
Me Wise Magic on that yet?
Haven't tried Me Wise Magic on it. No.
Give it a go.
Yeah.
Hip Metal Works
certainly
is in
will.
the
Hey,
chat. Good to see you, brother.
so the other problem with me coming over and possibly touring the States in your summer next year is the dollar conversion right now is absolutely horrible for us down here. It's like it's usually about you know, if I was to order something from the States, what I would do is like add 20-25%, something like that.
Wow.
Right.
Whereas now it's almost 200%. It's like double.
What?
Whoa.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it's crazy. So my question to you is, when I come there, if I just grab a bunch of these, can I use this currency? Will that work?
Hey, it's good in my house, brother.
That's right.
Because
Yes,
that's
sir.
really the only currency I'm interested in anyway, you know.
There you go. There you go.
Halen dollar.
Yeah.
Hey, I just got a new text from Nuno, and he said, stop complaining about the price conversion. Fruitcake Tony's loaded. He'll cover you.
Okay,
So-
cool.
Nice. Nice.
Brilliant.
You're killing me.
Brilliant.
You're killing me. Oh, Lord.
Oh my lord.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Mm.
I got you, man. I got you.
Yeah.
Oh dear lord.
Got you. Of course. Just send me the bill.
Yeah. Nice.
Sure.
No
Nice.
problem.
Yeah.
So not the check is in the mail, the bill is in the mail.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 Let's see where. So, Neil, I meant to ask you earlier. Is there anything in the shop this week?
You know, I would love to. I don't have anything to show you guys tonight, and there's a lot of work that's been done, and for you specifically. But we've had some weather changes and things where I'm keeping my guitars climate controlled right now, and I didn't want to be moving things from from warm to cold to warm to cold. So right now I got a bunch of things hanging in what is essentially a locker kind of thing, like where I do stuff. So I have nothing to really show off other than I've had an interesting new development, which is kind of cool. A couple of people have contacted me with EVH properties. I don't know if I told you guys this before. I might have talked about it before,
A little bit.
but a couple of people have asked me to. They've got an EVH product. They want that for whatever, they want the headstock logo to say EVH. They want all the things that come with it, but they've noticed inaccuracies. So they wanted me to do some stuff to it. So I've actually just kind of finished I haven't wired it or strung it up yet. Oh, I think I showed you this. I showed you this body last week. So I apologize for,
that's actually an EVH.
So this is an
body
EVH
and guitar. Yeah.
Yeah. This is an EVH body and guitar. And I think we talked about it where I found ways to put the pink in certain spots. I think I showed you guys this last week.
Yeah.
But it's
you didn't have the reflectors on last week.
Well, it wasn't put together.
Oh,
Neil.
really? Yeah. Okay. So I didn't have the reflectors on it yet, and the tape splotch and stuff like. So yeah, we've come a long way. What I'm going to do per the client, he wants a push pull pot here with a pickup selector. So this is going to be wired and active. The top pickup is going to be an active pickup, and we're going to go with that. But the reason I bring that up is just because I've had like 2 or 3 people in the span of just 2 weeks. So it kind of came all at once out of nowhere, have contacted me with EVH guitars that they said, or EVH Frankies. And they're like, hey, would you be interested in repainting it? And so I'm like, yeah, sure. Cool. And there's, they've paid for the EVH product. So there's no copyright issues with me doing it because they've already bought the product. So there's nothing wrong with that. So that's cool. So I said, send them to me. So that's kind of cool.
You're just modding the king of all modded guitars.
That's what I'm doing.
Neil, I've seen you paint some different colors, some blue Frankies and some green Frankies. And what's the weirdest thing that somebody's given you so far?
Yours.
Mine.
Yours. Yeah. No,
which one? The tape job that you're doing?
Yeah, because I've been trying to find. The interesting thing, and I've talked about this before, and now we're on the home stretch. Like I can't wait to show you guys something like next week. But the weirdest thing about doing a guitar, like most of the Eddie Van Halen striped guitars, most of them will have no more than 2 or 3 colors. And that's it. Right. So, it's, if you've got red and white and then black stripes on the outside, like a 5150, or if you're doing a Frankie, it's black, it's black, then white, then red, and you're peeling off tape. You don't have a whole lot of levels to where the tape lines are. Ideally when you strum your hand across it, you don't want to be able to feel tape lines.
Let's show them what we're talking about.
We're
talking about that guitar.
Yeah. So,
cool.
So that guitar, for the people out there, that actually was not a painted guitar. When Eddie played that, it was just a purple Kramer Pacer with electrical tape all over it. But there's 4 different colors of electrical tape, and if you actually dissect the layers of tape, the chronology of the tape, the way they're put on, there's actually 5, because there's white tape striped on the purple guitar, then yellow, then orange, then blue, then more white tape on top of it. So what I found interesting, what we're doing for Tony is we're trying to make that, we're recreating that guitar and using paint instead of tape. Now, on the surface, that doesn't seem like that would be hard to do. But the problem is paint is we're using paint that every time you do a coat of paint, it thickens the guitar. You're going to raise up the ledge of it. So what we're talking about is your lowest level of a white stripe down here. Then you're going to have yellow, and then orange, and then blue, and then purple, and then more white, all this stuff. Now we're talking about when you run your hand across the guitar, it's going to be almost impossible to make that flat and even. Or you're going to do about 1,000 clear coats, 1,000 layers of clear coat on top of it to smooth it out. So I've probably spent the last 3 months starting over with that guitar, doing tricks, trying to figure out a way to do it, and then that didn't work. Sand it all back down. Do it again. Do it all again, and all the stuff. And then I was doing things. I did it with white stripes and then purple, and then did one by one each color layer on top of that, and all these things. And then I'm wet sanding in between, trying to keep it as level as possible. And there were all kinds of hiccups and hangups along the way. But I think I finally got the formula figured out. And I've actually had a couple people ask me about it since I've talked about doing this guitar. I've had people that we know that watch our show that are really, really good builders and painters, well-known, established people that have contacted me and said, hey, have you figured that out yet? What's the trick? So I want to make sure before I showcase anything, before I send it to you, everything, I think I've got the formula figured out, and I'm not going to hoard it. It's not mine to keep. I'm going to pay it forward when I know it's right. But I think we're on the home stretch right now. Tony, your guitar has white, yellow, orange, and blue on it. And the only thing that's left is one more layer of white and then purple. And I'm doing it I'm chronologically doing it in ways that the darker colors don't have to, a lighter color. I don't want a lighter color to have to cover a dark color, because then you have to use more coats to get coverage. And then the problem with that is it thickens up. So by going strategically, by going white, yellow, orange, blue, purple, like that, I can still do the thinnest layer of paint possible, because a darker layer will always cover a lighter layer. So I think I got it figured out, and I can't wait to show you guys something.
See it, man. Can't wait to see it.
And just so everybody knows, there are only 2 guitars that are this intricate in Eddie's arsenal.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah. This and the Rasta.
The Rasta and this one.
You just can't paint. There's no template. I guess there will be now, Neil.
Correct. Well, there will. It's really funny, because I don't know how. It's almost like you have to look at this. I guess in a weird way.
You're making your own template.
Yeah, but you have to see the layers. Like I'm looking at it like I'm looking at blueprints to a building. It's almost like I'm trying. Yeah, it's weird. Like I have to
3D.
I'll take pictures of the guitar and I'll black out all the orange, so I don't see where the orange is, and then I'll do a thing where I'll black out where the yellow. So I'm kind of mathematically chipping away every layer of tape so that I can follow where the white tape lines are on the very bottom. And some of this stuff is so covered up, you have to use your best guess. There's only so many photos of the actual guitar where there's pictures on the back. You kind of got to just, common sense would say, well, this line has to connect to this line. So it's got, there's a lot of that, but it's really interesting. It's almost like an architect trying to dissect everything, like working backwards, saying, I'm looking at this picture of the guitar and I know that there's blue tape on top of orange and yellow. So in my mind, I have to mentally remove the blue tape from this picture in my head so I can see just the orange. And then I have to do the same with the yellow. And then I have to do the same with the white. And it's mind-blowingly difficult to do this.
Right. You're basically reverse engineering a paint job, but you also have to do it one paint color at a time and block every other paint color out.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, not tricky. To mention that this guitar of Eddie's is a Beretta, and it's got 2 pickups. And mine
we're also doing
has 1 pickup. Or excuse me, Eddie's is a Pacer, mine is a Beretta, and it just has the 1.
Right.
Yeah. So there's also a little bit of that in there where I had to imagine on the front face of the guitar in the neck area, I have to have stripes continue where they wouldn't have before, because there's a pickup there. So I have to basically, I have to keep going with these things. So it's certainly fun, and it's going to probably be the one that I'm probably by default I'm going to be the most proud of when it's done, because of the man hours I put into it. And it's been an adventure, and it's taken me way longer than I thought it should, but I'm excited because I like challenges. So I'm looking forward to that.
You picked a challenge and a half, bro.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Wow. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be cool. It's going to be really cool.
I wouldn't have thought it would have been as hard as it's been.
Agreed. Same here. And a lot of this stuff, a lot of this particular thing, because there is no template and no formula for doing this particular guitar, a lot of it is trial and error. You know, I'm figuring things out on the fly.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, the original plan was I was just going to wrap it up with electrical tape and then clear coat that. So I was going to seal the tape underneath.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
And that was the first thing I did. And Tony, I sent you pictures of that. I had that done. I did that. But then the problem was, the weird thing is, like the tape, the adhesive releases gases, and there's things as it settles, as it stretches, you know, it wrinkles and puckers and does things underneath. It was almost impossible to seal it entirely without it ever, you know, that's the nature of paint. And so this was, that was, you know, so sand it all down to zero and start over.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
The beauty of learning how to re-engineer it.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I'll tell you what, you know, I'll tell you what too, all these little tiny hiccups and things like that. I mean, the cool thing about the nature about what I do is that all makes me a better artist too. It makes me a better painter. It makes me a better, you know, designer. It makes me, you know, my tape lines are crisper, like all these things. Every time I make a mistake, you know, I make mistakes every day. But the one thing I pride myself is in, okay, that's what happened when I did this, so I won't make the same mistake a second time.
Learning from your mistakes is the key.
Yeah, but there's always, every time I come to a roadblock that I've never encountered before, and it's brand new, you know, that like this stuff comes up all the time. You're going to make mistakes, and then just, roll with the punches and learn from it so that the next one is better.
Yeah.
What do you do if you get a call for like the snake dragon or something like that?
That's one I turn down. That's what happens when it comes to those. Although, you know, it's kind of funny. You know, one of our, you know,
good carver.
Yeah. Last week, I think Holly had questioned us in the chat. She talked about the people that are getting the skins now, that are putting skins on the guitars and things. And our friend Louis Costa from Fairfield Guitar Company, he and I chatted about it afterwards. And he told me that he's got a Circles guitar, EVH Circles guitar, that is just, it's not painted. He just put the skins on it and everything.
It's a skin,
yeah. And it looked beautiful. And I told him, I said, I got to be honest with you, that's pretty badass. I mean, it kind of makes me nervous because at some point, you know, those kind of things are going to put me out of work. And he was nice enough.
It happened with NASCAR, so it could happen.
Right. But he was nice enough to be like, no, what the kind of things you're doing. And Simon, you can attest. Actually, almost all you guys can attest to this. You know, it's the personal touch of having something hand built and designed as a one-off.
That's what it's about.
That there's no other, you know, that kind of thing. So it's, you know, I never want to get to a point where people ask me to, you know, replicate something that like a graphic design or something that I would put on a guitar. That's just not me. Somebody else can do that. They'll find somebody else.
Let somebody else get a guitar. Yeah.
Let me put it out there too, that what Neil's making for me is not a replica of this guitar at all.
Right.
No.
Yeah. No.
It's harder than that.
Not Ben, Tom.
Yep.
Headstock not the same. A lot not the same. So
and that's one of the things that brings me the most joy to it too, is when I get to make something, you know, when somebody says like, oh, I love this guitar, but can we do this? Can we do that and everything? And the one thing I always respond to them is I'm like, yeah, you can do whatever you want. It's your guitar. It's not mine. There's no standard. There's no standard for the way I'm going to make a guitar. It's like whatever you wanted it. And
hence it being a custom.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said earlier tonight, you know, our chat, Herbert in the group, he came to me originally. He already bought a guitar from me like a year ago. And now he wants another one. And he was saying like, okay, I've got a replica. Now let's think outside the box. Would you be interested in doing something like this? And I don't want to talk about it yet because it's going to be really cool when I show it off. But I was like, yeah, the sky's the limit. Let's like how far can your imagination go? Let's do something that no one's ever done before. And that
Nice.
kind of thing that's kind of what we're doing. And Charles, like you with the Hot for Teacher guitar, when we talked about that, I showed you pictures and you were like, I was like, is this relic enough? And you're like, nope, go farther. And that kind of thing. But that's the stuff that I live for, man. That's the stuff
My Hot for Teacher is so cool, guys. I love that. Every time I look at it, Neil, I gotta tell you, I love that guitar.
And nobody's got one autographed by Lori.
It's just
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
That's
but if it didn't even if it didn't have
cool.
a signature, just the overall build and everything is just it's just wonderful, man. It's wonderful.
It is. It came out so great.
Yeah, the last thing I'm going to say about this, and I don't want to spend all this too much more time talking about this. I know it's getting late and everybody's got to go, but I want to say, obviously, I do what I do for a living right now. That's how I make money, so I'm doing it for money. But that being said, I'm certainly well aware of the fact that I'm blessed to be able to do something that I love to do and make money at it. There's I'm never lost on that fact. That never gets by me. I'm going to constantly be grateful and appreciative of the fact that there was a guy I just built a guitar for. I posted a picture of him this week. It was Charles, the Circles guitar with the 13 on it, and like we customized it with the pickups he wanted, a kill switch on it, all this stuff. Like we hot rodded it for him.
That's one of the best relics I've ever seen you do.
Thanks, man.
That relic is lucky guy got that guitar, bro.
But we built this guitar for him, and I sent it to him, and he's not a social media connoisseur. He's very rarely on social media, but he told me, he was like, hey, I got the guitar. I love it. I want to shoot a video and everything. And I thought, okay, great. That makes me feel good. Thank you for that and everything. But he ended up it took him about a week or so, but then he ended up again, like finally filming a video. And he admitted in the video and I shared this on my page. He admitted in the video, he's like, I don't do this. I don't know how to do videos. I don't do social media, but I really want to say I'm going to cherish this guitar for the rest of my life. And that kind of thing, it's like, oh my God, that's why
it's all about.
Simon, no, but think about it. Like all of us individually, like Simon, that's why you play. There are things like that. Everybody has that thing in their life that's why you do what you do. And that kind of thing. I've had a lot of really, really crappy jobs in my life that I've done just for money. And I'll pay, I'll clock in and clock out and that kind of stuff. But I've also been allowed to pursue my artistic ventures, whether it's writing, whether it's acting, whether it's playing, whether it's building and painting, like all these other things. I'm blessed that I would say, I mean, maybe I don't want to sound arrogant, so I'm not going to say 100%. So I'll say 99% of the people that I've given guitars to, it's brought joy to their lives. And that makes me really happy. Yeah. That makes me so happy.
Nice.
Well, I can tell you this, Neil, that the 5150 replica that you built for me, that was essentially, as a lot of people know, but for anyone that doesn't, is as closely relict as possible to the Live Without a Net video that we all grew up with, is one of the greatest. It's one of my very favorite things that I've ever owned in my whole entire life. And the fact that it came from you and that it was you crafting it. And I know that, I didn't buy it off a shelf, and I can imagine like you in your workshop doing all the bits, and that it's someone that I respect and admire and love. Like that guitar will be just cherished forever. And it's one of the greatest things, honestly, that I've ever got. So it's
I think everyone
I can't thank you enough. I can't even, I'm normally not stuck for words, but I can't even really put it into words. It's beautiful, brother. It's such a gift. Yeah, so you're right. And if I feel that way, I know that every single other person that receives one of your, that's right. That's
everybody
right. So
that way.
Yeah.
And that's
beautiful. Thank you, brother.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for saying that, for all you guys. Keith, you're the only one. We got to get you a guitar, bro. We got to get you a guitar.
I got Black Betty. I'm good.
When you build something for somebody versus buying something off a shelf, but then you buy something that somebody built who you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's different. You're right, Tony. It
I
has a
think
whole.
everyone who you build a guitar for shares this, Neil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is,
Mhm.
I do, again, like like, I don't mean to kind of beat a dead horse, but I'm aware of the fact, what the people that I'm building these particular guitars for, we have the common interest of the same music, the same love affair with that artist that created the music. When I'm building a guitar, an Eddie Van Halen guitar for somebody that loves Eddie Van Halen, you're not getting an assembly line project from a guy that's just clocking in and clocking out. That's not what that's not what I'm doing. I'm listening to Van Halen while I'm building it. It's in my head. I know exactly how it should feel. I know exactly the weight distribution and how that person's going to play the guitar. I know, all these type of things. It's it's those things. You can't rule that out when this is like he said, that's what makes it a custom build. You're not getting,
Right.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So,
That's right.
yeah. Anyway,
Can I get, let me just say this one last thing about my guitar. Because you relicked it so perfectly, there'll be like a little scratch somewhere, right? That I know that you've deliberately scratched into it. And you know what's funny is when I pick it up, and it'll just be some random thing somewhere on the guitar, and that I look at it and I can picture. I go, Neil deliberately made that particular scratch or mark, and that's the thing. I know all you guys that have got one of Neil's guitars. You know that every single thing on it, you can imagine him doing deliberately and going, "Oh, I'm going to put that scratch right there." I love that. Just makes me so happy every time I see that mark on the guitar. I know that I can picture you doing it. That's why having a custom guitar like that is just absolutely priceless. It really, really is, because it's so personal. It's very personal.
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%
you know
agree.
what? I'm tired of blowing his head up. He can't even kick the
Yeah, me too.
doorway.
Me too. That's enough.
Yeah,
That's
shut
enough.
his camera off
Me-
now.
Wait,
Neil's
wait,
links.
hold it, guys.
His relicking work is so
Nuno-
good.
Wait,
that-
Nuno just texted me again, and he said, "Don't listen to them, Neil. Let them keep talking about you."
Neil's
That's
links
brilliant.
down below. Get Neil. You'll find Neil a couple of spaces down in the description. Yeah.
Yes, and Neil and I are talking about a special kind of 5150 guitar
Yes,
for
we are.
when I come over to the States for you guys too. But we won't say anything just yet. We've got a bit more discussion to have about it, but there's something extra special in the works.
Yeah, it's a cool color palette. I'll leave it at that.
So
it
Simon,
will be a
you're
full color palette. Yes.
You're starting the tour over here. Where at? Raleigh.
San Diego, I hope.
Raleigh.
San Diego.
San Diego.
It's really about Charlotte.
Yeah.
So closer.
Charlotte,
Go to
San Diego.
and then
Yeah.
work your way east.
I promise you, once things look like they're starting to, get cemented in, the first thing that I'm going to make sure happens is that we hit all the exact right cities for you guys. So that's going to be, that goes without saying, that I'm just going to do my utmost to make sure that we're like in all of your cities. And so
just think North Carolina, anywhere you hit will be fine. We can all get there.
They can all get to, everyone else can come to North Carolina.
Well,
Yeah.
Simon,
Okay,
you
beautiful.
realize Simon, you're at this point, you could probably go on a 30-city tour of the United States and never have to pay for a hotel room, because somebody in some city is going to put you up.
Today.
We're going to be like, come on,
Right.
crash in my place.
Yeah, you can anytime.
But you know what? As much, of course, as it'll be such a thrill to come over and play, I have to say more of a thrill is going to be that I actually get to hang with you guys in person for the first time. That will be, I'll be sitting on that flight from Melbourne to wherever it is, probably LA. And all I'm going to be thinking about is that I get to actually hang with you guys. That's going to be like, forget the performances. That'll take care of itself. But that'll be my favorite part for sure.
Very cool, bro.
Can't wait.
Ditto.
East Coast.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
East Coast, indeed. Actually, if Ed is still in the chat, I don't know if you are or not, sir, but if you are, please hit me up on. Yeah, he is. Cool. Hit me up on Facebook or Insta. There's something I want to ask you about. and it's not Avatar related. Don't worry.
So let's give a shout out or two. Let's give a shout out to Holly Lewis. It's her
Happy
birthday
birthday,
tomorrow.
sweetheart.
Guitar Man 45's his
Yep.
birthday today. Holly is the big winner for trivia tonight.
Yep.
She'll be joining us New Year's. Next week we got more. We'll find winner number 2. Yeah, we will. Let me see here.
Happy
what
birthday,
we got.
Guitar Man.
So,
Yeah.
have I got it in here?
We just had Chris Hunter join in the chat too. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
What's up, dude?
Right on, Chris.
Long time no see, brother.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
Let me give you a reminder. This Saturday on Show Me Your Pick, we are going to be talking about, and we got a special guest too,
Yeah.
that I've just learned about. I don't know that I've even told you, Charles, but we're going to be talking about Mick Mars this
Oh, yeah.
Saturday on Show Me Your Pick, man.
That's gonna be a good show.
Yeah. And
That is going to be a good show.
special guest, Ben Coombs.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Love Ben.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm flying back from Perth, but if I happen to be able to catch it at the airport while I'm waiting for the flight, I'll definitely tune in. That's going to be a killer show.
We'll be
Sweet.
talking.
Cool.
And you know
Saturday
what?
night.
Mick Mars does not get the credit that he deserves,
No, he
because
doesn't.
I know like a lot of
Damn
people used to talk shit about Mick Mars, but I got to tell you, all you got to do
Who?
is listen to his slide playing on Bad Boy Boogie, and that is a serious guitarist right there. And I grew up with that stuff, and I like Mick just the same as I like all the other guys.
Awesome. Cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So underrated as a player. Absolutely.
And well said.
Cannot agree with more.
And,
Yeah.
and you know what? Another guy that when you hear Mick play, it's undeniably Mick Mars. There is no mistake who that is playing. That's
That's right.
hard to do, like we were talking about before, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's still a Marshall, it's still a guitar with distortion. How do you have your own sound? But Mick has got always had his own sound, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Charles, are you going to be part of this?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
all right.
'Cause I know you got a few
That's gonna
big
be a good
stories,
show.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saturday's
Charles, I
gonna
can't
be
wait to-
fun.
I can't wait to hear those. Well, if I happen to be in the air at the time, I'll watch the replay. I'll look forward to that show.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very
so
cool.
yeah, but that's coming up Saturday on Show Me Your Pick. We
Beautiful.
will be right back here next Wednesday talking all things Van Halen here on Halenville. Keith, thanks for coming by. Charles, Neil, Simon, always great to see you, dude.
Always a pleasure to be on with you guys too. Thank you for having me on, and thanks to everyone in the chat. I'm sorry I haven't really been keeping up with the comments, but if anyone wants to see a sneak preview too of what Neil was talking about before with the Corner Hotel video where we do the Sammy Hagar stuff, there is a promo on my YouTube channel, so you can get a sneak peek from that if you haven't
Yeah.
seen it. But,
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
but
Please
yeah,
check
thanks,
it out.
thanks.
Sweet.
Thank you for having me on, guys. It's
You're
always
welcome.
a pleasure. And
Yeah, always a
yeah,
pleasure, Hoss.
I can't wait to be over in your part of the world and hang out with all you guys.
We can't wait to have you.
Can't
You'll
wait.
find Simon's links down below in the description for this show and Show Me Your Pick. They're always here.
Yeah.
Great content on Simon's channel, but go check that promo out for the Corner Hotel.
Oh, wait, one
Please
more time.
watch it.
Nuno just texted me. Nuno just texted me one more time. He goes, Neil, please tell Simon to stop asking me about hair product.
Okay.
What are you gonna do?
Well,
Nuno,
My
Nuno
next
has
car's
some of the
gonna be
best
a-
hair in rock and roll.
best hair, and
Yeah.
you know, I gotta say, and I'm saying this from a man's point of view, some of those Guitar World covers, some of the best triceps I've ever seen. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Right on, man.
He's got he always had the guns and he always had the hair, and
Yep.
luckily for us, he also had the songwriting ability and the chops.
Yes,
There you go.
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go.
That
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah, for real.
Absolutely.
Long fingers, too.
Really?
Have you ever? Oh, yeah.
I haven't
Look at
noticed.
his fingers.
No, I never noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you know
he's
what
got
they say
long
about
fingers.
guys with long fingers, long gloves.
Yeah, long gloves.
Yeah.
That's right.
Lovely. It's been a pleasure, guys.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you again.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
again.
Everybody, thanks for watching. Leave a thumbs
Happy
up.
birthday,
on
Holly. Happy
video.
birthday, Guitar Man.
Yep, happy birthday. Right on.
Absolutely.
2 birthdays in 2 days. That's
Nice.
it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Subscribe here if you're not already. Thank you for that. We are right on 800 subscribers right now, looking to
Woo.
get to 1,000. But thank you for that. We appreciate all of you. We love you. Thanks for supporting these shows. Keith, Charles, Neil, Haas, Brendan, Sandra, Tommy. We love you guys. Happy holidays. We'll see you right back here next Wednesday. Any last words there, Charles Green?
Guys, this is Halenville, and just don't forget, it doesn't matter if you go north, south, east, or west. Any road you go down is going to lead you straight to Van Halen. I want you guys to have a great week. Be well. Thanks for coming on, Haas. We love you. And rock on.
Love you too.
Guys. Rock on. Take care.
Peace.
Yeah.